You see something today we haven't seen all week long at this side set is some sunshine in the back. And I'm going to tell you, it's nice to be able to have a little sunshine. It's been frigid down here. The football has been hot. But 3 games today. We just crowned another champion. Heidelberg in 2A defeated Charleston 38-6 in a ball game that was a 6-6 ball game. Coming into today, it was a 6-6 ball game. And then Daryl Carter, the head football coach of Heidelberg, able to really make some adjustments at the half, really get that offense going. Heidelberg claims their first ever state championship. We got a lot to get to today. We've got 2 more championships coming up here in a little under an hour. We'll have Louisville versus Poplarville, and these two have a history in this championship setting. And, of course, coming up tonight, you've got Hattiesburg taking on Grenada in the 6A championship. So we got a lot to get to. We're going to take our first time out of the day. When we come back, we'll carry on. We'll catch you up all week long. You still got time to get out here. We'll tell you how to get tickets for that and more. It's the Game Break Show. Back in a bit.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Back on the campus of Southern Mississippi, I'm Jake Wimberly. Show brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's good to be blue, as it's good to have some sunshine, too. It's good to be blue. It's also good to have some sunshine. It's nice weather today. Now, temperatures will get down. Not quite as cool as it was last night and the night before. I think we're going to be in the 40s, which is a little warmer. We don't normally talk about 40-degree weather as warmer, but compared to the 30s and 29s and the wind that we've had over the last couple of days, that'll be much warmer. We'll have several guests coming up here as we move along. Will Kohlmeyer will join us. Robbie Falk will join us. Adam Johnson with the MHSA is going to join us. Obviously, we're working to get the head football coach at Heidelberg, Daryl Carter, on as Heidelberg is your champions. In 2A, they win over Charleston 38-6. And, yesterday we talked some Mississippi high school football history, and we'll continue down that path today some, just because I think it's important to remember where we come from as far as historical emphasis on high school football. And yesterday the storyline was West Point. We'll look at some of this. Charleston's been in this game several times when you start kind of going back through the record books. Last year Charleston got a championship. They beat the same Heidelberg team 26-22. You look back down through here, and I'm just going down through the record books here. You'll find several times. Charleston lost in 2016 to Kemper County, even 3A. They were 3A at the time, 12-8. And then, of course, they lost the year before that to Collins, 2015, 36-32. And Collins and Charleston played in 2014. Collins won that one 28-20. So several times, Charleston has been in this game. They are no secret or no stranger to this game. For Heidelberg, only their second appearance ever. Lost one last year, won one this year. That's why I always tell everybody, it is hard to win these. You know, we look at the storylines like Louisville, who's going for their 13th today against Poplarville. We saw West Point get their 13th last night. We know what South Pinola's done. And we say, wow, you know, well, anybody can do this. You know, why are we not winning championships like that? The sad reality is everybody can't do it, and most people don't do it. So, you know, when you get one, you better embrace it and enjoy it. And, of course, Heidelberg picks up their first one in the school's history. So, big congratulations to Heidelberg as they won the championship in 2A today. Of course, we've got 2 more championships to go today. Coming up here in just a little under an hour, about 40 minutes, we're going to get a great one here between Louisville and Poplarville. These two have some history in this championship game. Of course, Louisville has never lost a championship game. They are 12-0 in championship appearances. And if you want to talk about winning percentages and numbers in football, 12 for 12 in championships, I mean, that's kind of like New England Patriot numbers, except a little better. You get into Grenada and Hattiesburg tonight. And, of course, Rick Cleveland will join us, astute Hall of Fame writer, sportscaster extraordinaire, will join us during the Game Break show, the next one and last one of the weekend, because I want him to tell a story. We're going to talk about an article he wrote on Hattiesburg and, you know, his connection to this town, his connection to this high school. And, you know, when you talk about a team that has not won a championship, or their last one was 100 and something years ago. So a lot of great storylines to get to as we move forward. Let's take a timeout. We come back, we'll reset. We'll see if we can grab a coach and a guest and more. It's the Game Break Show. We're in Hattiesburg. See you in a bit.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Wow. How can I start this? Young and dumb. Listening to the streets. Thinking that people of my age knew more than the adults that have been through what I went through. Because of the My Best program, I have been able to have more motivation within myself because of the help that I get from others, from what they see in me that I did not see in myself. Having the administrators and the instructors to be there when you need them there. Their willingness to help you with whatever you need help with. You know, there is no barriers, you know. No matter how you come in, if you follow the right direction and you allow them to lead you, you will leave out a whole nother person.
It's the Game Break Show. We're glad to be with you on the campus of Southern Miss as we move closer and closer to the 4A championship. Jake Wimberly, glad to be with you. Now joined with Adam Johnson. He's the general manager of the Mississippi High School Activities Association. Adam, thank you, sir. How are you?
Great. Great weather, great football.
Yeah.
Day 3.
It's fun.
Awesome.
It's fun.
It's
Look,
awesome.
like you said, the weather, I said that earlier. I've been in a big coat all weekend. And now, obviously, it's still cool, but now at least we got some sunshine and can move around a little bit.
Warms up a little bit on that turf out there. So what a beautiful day. If you couldn't draw it up any better for today. Great ball game to see Heidelberg, a rematch from last year.
Yeah.
So fun to see Heidelberg get the better of Charleston this year because it went the other way last year. 4A coming up, and of course a big 6A game tonight that we expect is people to be hanging from the rafters around here. We hope.
No, huge. There's no doubt about it. All right, so take us through this week for you. I mean, big games on Thursday, big games yesterday, and as always, you guys do such a great job, and we know that this is a lion's share workload you guys put a year into. I know you'll take a break. Drink a cup of coffee Monday, and it's back to it again for next year.
Well, and we couldn't do it without so many great partners.
Sure.
Not only corporate partners from a sponsoring and financial standpoint, but, folks around here, the folks at Southern Miss are just so incredible to work with. The folks on campus in athletics, visit Hattiesburg, the city of Hattiesburg, just help us do such a great job of putting all the puzzle pieces together to make this thing happen. A great venue. So we're so thankful for them making it easy for us and then get to watch good football on top of that. So, kind of that rotating schedule. I know a lot of people ask the question about, 7A's on a Thursday night. Like, what's the, it rotates. So last year 7A was on Saturday. So those games rotate. So, we kind of I say got lucky in some standpoints
Yeah.
of the 6A game being on Saturday night, being the marquee matchup with Hattiesburg here. Of course, that schedule's been set since the day after championships last year, so just kind of fell. Cards fall right sometimes.
Yeah, and when you look at the in-game experience, as you referenced here at Southern Miss, and at other venues where we go. Last year at Oxford was unbelievable at Ole Miss. Mississippi State, we've been there before. It's great. The vet is great, but they do such a great job here. Access for the media, access for the fans. Parking. It's a I would say 100 out of 100 for Southern Miss.
100%. You're right, and it's a testament to multiple university partners wherever we've been. I think it means so much to the universities for us to be here, and it shows, and they make us feel that way, and we appreciate that from a city standpoint, from a university standpoint, to have that many folks on campus. What a great opportunity for, I've had so many people come and say, hey, I've driven by campus, but I've never been on it. What a nice campus Southern Miss has. So we want folks to have that experience as well and come in and have a good time, watch some good football while they're at it.
Talk a little bit about some of the partners. Obviously, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, part of what we're doing here on the Side Set Show. Just so many great businesses in the state of Mississippi that help make it possible.
Well, to try to list all of them, right,
Sure.
we'd be here all day. But you're right, Blue Cross Blue Shield being the title sponsor of our Gridiron Classic. You've got college and career savings here, doing scholarship giveaways throughout the week. C-Spire, a great partner. Mississippi Sports Medicine Orthopedic Center, Farm Bureau of Mississippi. The list goes on and on. With the Dairy Alliance, with a new element we've added where we're giving chocolate milk away to our student athletes after they win or lose after they play, to help refuel them. So we appreciate those partners that help make it the experience, not only for the fans but for the student athletes as well, because this is something special for them to get to play for it, and not only be a fan but also to be here, in a college facility playing for state championship. It's a big deal.
And once football's over, what's the next one coming up?
Well, we've got esports next week back here at Southern Miss. Then we've got cheer and dance. That'll wrap up the year, and then we turn the page and have bowling and soccer pretty quick. And then we'll have basketball in the big house at the end of February, first couple of days of March.
Well, Adam, thank you so much. You guys do such a great job. You do a great job. All right, thank you. We'll get to the next one, Adam. See you then. All right, Adam Johnson, General Manager, MHSA, on your Side Set. We're going to take a time out. We'll come back. We got more. We're going to tee you up for Louisville and Poplarville. Back in a bit.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
Back on the campus of Southern Mississippi, just on the outset of the Rock in the Bowls section. It is the Game Break Show brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. Thanks to Adam Johnson, the General Manager of the Mississippi High School Activities Association. Joining us right now, Coach Daryl Carter. Heidelberg, they are champions today, the Oilers. And, Coach, congratulations on the championship. You know, when I see Oilers, first thing I think of, I'm going to age myself, is Houston Oilers, Warren Moon, slinging all over. And when I got on the field, I said, I want to see somebody, I want to see these Oilers represent and look like the old Oilers. Y'all did that today.
Yes, sir. Hey, we got it going, man, after halftime and fix a couple of things, O-line, and mental mistakes, but I mean, that's what we've been scoring all year. We didn't get 50, but I mean, we got the gold ball and got the W, so that's what's counting.
Coach, talk a little bit about this. Last year, you and I spoke briefly on the field about this. You get to this game, and, you know, fans are fanatical, right? So you get to a championship and you don't win it, and it's everywhere. You know, you see it across social media. They get mad at their teams. I tell everybody all the time, it's hard to win championships. It is so hard. Talk about last year, you know, the heartache of losing, but then, you know, today, just a totally different feel.
I mean, we stuck with it, like I said. You know, we get caught in the emotion, but at the end of the day, man, I trust the good Lord. You know, he gave me a calm, like I said, when I stayed on the field and watched Charleston, you know, get presented with the gold ball. I knew they had been there, you know, many years, and, you know, it was new for our guys in our school. And, you know, not for me, won a couple of them as a player and coach, but, I mean, it's just a different feeling. We didn't want to have that feeling again. Made that long trip back, and we had opportunity right here in our backyard to get it done, and we, you know, seized that moment.
Coach, talk about building the culture at Heidelberg. I mean, because, you know, you've got the Panolas of the world, and you've got, you know, everything that's gone at West Point, Louisville, we'll see in a minute. It takes, you know, a big effort from a head coach like yourself, a staff, to take a group of young men to start building that winning culture. And you guys have been very successful in just really getting started there.
Yes, sir. I mean, the main thing is, like I said before, like I told him when I interviewed for the job and when I was at Shannon High School, I told them my first thing, you know, even though I'm not a coach, is to help them become better young men. And I feel like, you know, if you're trying to get better as a person in life, and then you play that sport or whatever it is you're pursuing, if you're trying to get better at winning culture, you know, being accountable and everything like that falls in place. And they bought into what I was saying and sold out. And, you know, it's just helping us go right now. We're trying to keep this thing going.
Talk about what this means to this community. I mean, you're talking about, I noticed when I was on the side set, you had looked like a group of alumni guys up top. They were getting after it. The crowd's getting after it. Just what this means to Heidelberg.
I mean, you know, I went to Northeast Jones, which is right there about 10, 11 miles away. We used to play them in basketball. We didn't play them in football, but they always had athletes and a host of them. Then I coached at Kemper County, the head coach, and we played them and they had them. And they never won it. You know, they've been to state, our girls, basketball team, our boys team, they go in track, got individual award, but they never won the overall team championship. And I mean, being the first ones to do it and being rare about it, it just sets the tone for the whole community. They've been wanting it so bad. And I just thank the good Lord for putting me in position to be the one to, you know, lead them there.
Last question, we'll let you go celebrate. I know you got other things to do. What's the message to the team when y'all leave here today?
Hey, enjoy it, and, you know, we're going back to work. You know, I was at Shannon High School for almost 12 years, and every year West Point would win it, and they would be back in the lab. And my guys had a chance over the last 2 years going to camp and seeing some things, and I showed them videos of that, and they were like, Coach, you know, it's for real. They get back at it. So we're going to enjoy it, give them a break. It's been a long season. Got some guys banged up. They go to another sport, but good Lord willing, man, we're going to get back in the saddle and try it again.
Coach, again, congratulations on the championship today.
Thank you, and thank y'all. Go Oilers.
Darryl Carter, he is the head football coach. Heidelberg, they are champions today, 38-6 over Charleston. We'll take a timeout, back with more in a minute.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Appreciate Coach Darryl Carter of Heidelberg. The Oilers taking some time with us, 38-6. They get the win over Charleston. We'll have here literally in just a matter of several minutes, we'll get you to Louisville and to Poplarville for another championship, 4A championship coming up. Right now, a little college savings, Mississippi, with our good friend Alice Claire Scott. Hey, when we talked the other day, we were bundled up. We at least got a little sunshine today.
It is beautiful out here today. I mean, it's been a little chilly, but we're enjoying the music, the games. It's been fun. Feels good.
Talk about the interaction today. We're going to get into what you guys do, but I mean, I know you guys are set up just right down off the concourse here. We want to remind people that if they're coming out watching this, maybe headed to the game, how's that been? And then, of course, we're going to talk about your programs here.
Absolutely. So we're set up on home and visitor side. You can scan a QR code. We're giving $500 away at every game this week, and we're also doing another draw. We're giving a total of $5,000 of scholarships. So we've gotten to see a ton of friends and visitors. It's been a lot of fun.
So for those that are watching, if they don't know anything about what we're even talking about, they say, what are you talking about, money? Well, tell them where they can get some money and what you're about.
Absolutely. So we're College and Career Savings Mississippi. We have the prepaid plan, Impact, and the Max Savings plan. So the earlier you start, the better. But we're all about helping college and career savings for families and students. So we come to all these games, get to watch some incredible football, and give some scholarships away and help families and students with education.
So if somebody's curious, how do they save money? So what are the programs like?
Sure. So you can go to treasury.ms.gov and go to College and Career Savings, and there you can start a plan for as little as $25. So, Christmas is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but my children have too many toys. So anybody can open a plan for as little as $25 at treasury.ms.gov. Also, something that's really awesome, you can go there as well and look for unclaimed money. And you may have money that's sitting out there that would be like some extra Christmas cash for you.
No,
so
that's great.
Treasurer David McRae has that going and is really putting emphasis on that. So make sure you check that out.
I can remember going to college, and I can remember I didn't have the best of grades. I had to pay for a lot of stuff, right? Didn't get a lot of scholarship money. I wish something like this was around, way back when, the beginning of time when I was born.
Of course.
Because, the price of education, as we all know, continues to go up. So it's important to have a plan like what you guys have, and you can start it, if you're a mom and dad sitting around watching, maybe you're expecting, you say, hey, let's go ahead and start a fund for our unborn child. Or if they're 10, 11, 12, you can start it then as well.
Absolutely. And our Max plan's super flexible. So grandparents can open a plan, friends can open a plan, you can gift it to the beneficiary, and anybody can contribute to it. So it's perfect. It can be used for a laptop, for room and board, career, technical school, anything like that. So apprenticeship programs, it's very diverse across the board for education opportunities and career opportunities.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and I mean to walk on you there. It's not just for four-year institutions. It's for any kind of a tech college, if you're talking about going to be a diesel mechanic or whatever it might be.
Yes, and you can use it for your equipment for diesel mechanic school, 2-year, 4-year. So when you think about college savings, a lot of people think, oh, only 4-year. It's a whole lot more than that. So any questions, our office, we're always happy to answer whatever, and you can stop by on either side and talk to us today. I've got my whole staff here. So Treasurer McRae's really put an emphasis in it, and we're really excited about it.
If you're coming out today, you can find them on either side of the stadium. If you're not coming today, where can they find you?
They can find us at treasury.ms.gov.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you as always. Got to take a time out. We're going to get Will Kohlmeyer teed up here. He'll talk with us. He does a lot of football here for the MHSA. We'll visit with him about these games and more in just a minute.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Appreciate Alice Scott Clare with College Savings Mississippi. Make sure to head over and check those programs out. I can promise you will not be disappointed. Right now, you're not going to be disappointed either, as our next guest, he's been doing this for quite a while, 14 years, I believe. College, high school, freelance play-by-play. He does it all: baseball, basketball, football, volleyball. I mean, probably does esports and everything else. He's Will Kohlmeyer. You see him on the games and such. Will, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. I feel like you talk about all that play-by-play, but I feel like my career has arrived now that I'm now joining you on this. Yes, absolutely. I can put it on my LinkedIn profile now.
There you go. That's right. Hey, I tell you what, we've had some unbelievable football games. Let's go back to what we saw on Thursday. Just your thoughts, because you were lead and, of course, play-by-play on the Brandon Tupelo game. You got a chance to see some of the Knoxville-Choctaw County game. Just kind of unpack what, your thoughts of those two, with Choctaw County and Tupelo getting championships.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Choctaw County, Dylan Mitchell and his folks really, thanks to Mr. Cunningham and company, they were able to take care of business, and that was a neat matchup with Knoxville. Still hard for me to think about Knoxville County as a South Half team, but yes, that was a really good one. And then, of course, you and I talked all during the week with that Tupelo Brandon. We were really looking forward. We thought we would be in for one of those instant classics, and I thought it was a really good game. I mean, Brandon had, if they come back and they maybe do a play here or there, it might have had a different outcome. But I thought it was extremely entertaining. And for Tupelo, I mean, first state championship since '92. That's 32 years, been a long time.
It has. Talk a little bit about that. And what I mean by that is Tupelo, the city, the area, because Mississippi is such a unique place. We were talking about this the other day. You could almost take the map of Mississippi and make 3 or 4 different states out of this state, because the Gulf Coast is so different than central Mississippi. Even the Pine Belt is different. And then you get into Tupelo and the DeSoto County. We've got, just a very diverse areas inside the state. And Tupelo is so iconic from history and such, and very passionate in sports as well.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They love their Golden Wave there in Tupelo. And as you mentioned, I mean, just the state of Mississippi. I've said it for years and years. The talent level in this state, it's just remarkable. And, for years, and I'm sure it's still the case, per capita, more players in the NFL than any other state. And you're right. It's a very passionate. And up there in Northeast Mississippi, a lot of people thinking about basketball. And they've had some really good high school basketball programs, but they love their football up there as well. And so far, the North, for the first 2 days, have been flexing their muscle. Today, we'll see. Heidelberg sure looked good in that last one.
Yeah, and we talk about the North. I mean, Heidelberg gets the first victory from a Southern team in the bracket, but you get Baldwin, Simmons, and then West Point last night knocks out Gaucher.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange, isn't it? Then if you look at a map, Highway 45. So you got Baldwin up there in Highway 45. They won a state title. Then you had Tupelo there, and then you keep going south on Highway 45. You've got West Point. So you've got 3 teams right there on Highway 45 within maybe an hour 15 of each other, coming back home with state championships. We'll see what will transpire the rest of today.
Of course, Heidelberg gets their first championship ever. And, I tell people all the time, it's tough to win them. I mean, it's tough to win them. People gripe, oh, well, this team made the championship game 3 times. They haven't won it or what. I mean, so for Heidelberg, what a special story to get their first championship.
It really was special. And Daryl Carter, you just had him on the program, and covered him back in my TV days when he was a standout wide receiver. Even covered some of his Arena Football League days. And so, yeah, it's kind of neat to see that. And I didn't realize Heidelberg had that many people that could be at a game. I mean, I didn't think there was that many people in Heidelberg that covered that. I mean, they had it from like 20 to 20 on the visiting side here at the Rock. It was an impressive crowd.
Of course, coming up here in just a bit, Louisville takes on Poplarville, and then Hattiesburg Grenada. Louisville going for their 13th championship, rather, to tie West Point. West Point went 1 up on them. Isn't that remarkable? You talk about that Highway 45, and then you go over to Louisville. I mean, those 2 programs, I mean, you could make an argument best ever in the state of Mississippi. And I know people say, what about Panola? Hear me out here.
Yes.
Louisville, they're undefeated in these games.
That's that right there. You took the words right out of my mouth, because it was impressive for West Point last night. I mean, they get their 13th state championship, so they're 13-5, which is beyond impressive in this state championships. But what you just said about Louisville, and you're right, and there's a little bit of a rivalry. Everybody talks about West Point and Starkville, and that is a bitter rivalry, but they play each other just about every year, West Point and Louisville, and these are the kind of these schedules. Brandon did the same thing. Tupelo, you play those tough non-division games in that schedule, and you find out quickly where you're at and what you need to improve on.
And, of course, coming up tonight, Hattiesburg, Tony Vance, basically the unofficial mayor of Hattiesburg now. His son, Deuce Vance, also a, Mississippi Player of the Year in 5A, or excuse me, 6A. They get an opportunity to try to get a championship tonight, but taking on a very good Grenada team.
Yes, Grenada, boy, they have been hot as of late, no doubt about that. And we talked about what Heidelberg did on the visiting side. It's going to be kind of strange for Hattiesburg High School to be on the visiting side tonight, but I mean, you're going to be seeing a ton of purple and gold on that visiting side tonight. It's going to be special, no doubt about that. They had the big pep rally last night, and so, the folks are locked and loaded here in Hattiesburg for that one. It's just kind of a neat day that on Saturday, you have basically 3 local teams with Heidelberg. You got Poplarville coming up, and then Hattiesburg tonight. So it kind of worked out well with the schedule today. So expecting huge crowds.
There's no doubt about it. Well, look, thank you so much for taking time today. Thank you for what you do for not only Mississippi high school football, baseball, and basketball, but college sports. You do a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. It keeps me young. I mean, when you start getting up there in years, but when you're half your age, when I'm in the booth or doing these, doesn't matter if it's college or high school, whatever. And I'm proud to be on this MHSAA. This is 14 years now in a row, and it's a true pleasure and a treat. And it was been a treat to finally be on the show with you, partner.
Absolutely. He is Will Kohlmeyer. He's one of the good ones. He actually is the good one. Back in a minute.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Wow. How can I start this? Young and dumb, listening to the streets, thinking that people of my age knew more than the adults that have been through what I went through. Because of the My Best program, I have been able to have more motivation within myself because of the help that I get from others, from what they see in me that I did not see in myself. Having the administrators and the instructors to be there when you need them there. Their willingness to help you with whatever you need help with. There is no barriers, no matter how you come in, if you follow the right direction and you allow them to lead you, you will leave out a whole nother person.
Appreciate Will Kohlmeyer jumping in here with us as he has done a great job as always this weekend. You'll see him not tonight, but as basketball comes back around in the spring and other sports as well. It is the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi Game Break Show. We're getting you ready for Louisville and Poplarville. And my next guest, Robbie Falk, who has been kind enough to join us several times this weekend. Louisville native. We're going to talk a little Louisville football. Robbie, of course, you can find his work, Starkville Daily News, freelance all over the place. Covers Mississippi State and I will just say you covered the entire state and the Southeastern Conference.
Well, I wasn't too familiar with the lower half of the state because I didn't know what to expect from Gaucher last night and some of these teams. I have seen Poplarville a good bit over the years, but North Mississippi is my area of expertise, I guess you could say.
So speaking of expertise, Louisville football, 12 championships. And what makes it so special, they have never lost this game. The championship game,
never lost. They've created this culture there where nobody wants to lose this game. I was talking to some people up in the press box earlier about that 2020 state championship that was at Jackson, and it was a game against this Poplarville team that was in danger. They had a chance to lose that ball game, and at the end of the game, they went down there, scored a touchdown, went for 2, and won the ball game. And I was talking to quarterback Jace Hudspeth, who was the quarterback at the time, about that, and he said, we didn't want to lose this game. We didn't want to be the first team to lose it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of trickled down through the years from the 1980s to the 2020s. Here we are now, and it's the same mindset for these guys. Nobody wants to be the first one to lose. And I promise you, the guys out there today, they feel the same way.
You and I have talked about this publicly and privately over the years, but for those that may not know, you talk about Louisville and you start talking railing off the championships, and of course there are a lot of coaches around the state of Mississippi, high school, collegiately, that come from Louisville, writers, actors, you know, and people say, well, man, you're making it sound like a storybook. Louisville kind of is a storybook.
It is.
Not?
It is. It's a great place, and like you said, so many people have come through there. It's transcended, especially in football, the coaches and the players. It's just been a great culture there, and there's great people. They're hardworking people. You got Taylor Machine Works down there. You have industry there, people that have worked hard, and they have a lot of pride too. And you look at, like you said, some of the people that come through there: Brad Peterson, Bobby Hall, Mike Justice, guys like that have come through there and have had great careers and done great things. And Tyrone Shorter, to me, I've watched that guy. I've followed him his entire career as a head coach at Knoxville and Louisville. He might be the best of the bunch, and I truly mean that. He is a tremendous football coach, tremendous program guy, and he has been a perfect fit for Louisville and what they do.
Talk a little bit about West Point last night, what we saw. You know, we talked pregame about the changing of the guard as far as Chambliss to Morgan and head coaches. But, again, you know, Gaucher, you got to give them credit. They battled. They hit them right in the mouth early. But West Point just does what West Point does, is win.
And post-game, talking to Coach Brett Morgan, I asked him, what's the secret sauce at West Point to keep doing this? Because it doesn't matter the players, doesn't matter the coach, obviously, because Chris Chambliss has moved on. They just continue to do what they do, and they do it really well. And what he said was this town, this community, this administration, they're committed to run the ball. You know, people say run the dang ball. That's what they do at West Point.
Right.
And they do it really well. And it's just a culture thing. It's a mentality that they bring. They're not going to be denied. And I think Gaucher, they made 3 mistakes in a row. They missed a field goal. They fumbled it. They threw an interception. West Point scored on all 3 possessions following those plays. You cannot make a mistake against West Point. They will make you pay. And they don't make mistakes is the thing. They don't do that. So on offense, they're going to run the football. They're going to move the chains. They're going to score touchdowns. And that's how that game kind of got away from Gaucher, I believe.
So Poplarville, a team that likes to run the ball. If we're given a slight edge one way or the other, do we go Louisville because of the culture and experience, or does Poplarville? I mean, you talk about a puncher's chance this afternoon.
Yeah, I think I do give the edge to Louisville because they've been here. They've been able to break through every single time they've been here, and they've done it against this Poplarville team a couple of times too. But if you go back to those games against Poplarville, they've been highly contested. And you look at the two teams, and you might say that Poplarville getting off the bus doesn't look as great as Louisville does, but they're a lot like West Point. What they do really well, and they take care of the football. They run that offense to near perfection. And it's not a great matchup for what Louisville does defensively. It takes their athletes out of it a little bit. They're not able to be what they want to be.
Yeah.
But, Louisville, they find a way. And going into this game, I think they're going to find a way. But Poplarville, too, is a team that they've been gunning for the state title for a long time, and they have a chance to do it again. We'll see if they're able to pull it off.
Well, Robbie, always appreciate your insight, appreciate your time. Safe travels back this evening, and we'll see if Louisville can get another one here in a minute.
Looking forward to it, my man.
Robbie Falk, you can follow him on X, and make sure to check him out at Starkville Daily and other places. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
We're on the campus of Southern Mississippi. It's another Game Break show brought to you by our friends at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. We're moments away, getting closer to Louisville and Poplarville. Tyler Cleveland sitting to my right, as he's always kind enough to give us some time. Tyler, at least we got some sunshine, and it's not so cool today.
Oh, no, but you and I were standing on the sidelines for that last game. I had to go put the jacket down. It feels pretty good out here. You know, I wish it would stay that way, but I'm sure we're going to cool down a little bit tonight, but the action certainly is heating up.
It is. You got the stats over there, looking at those, looking across Heidelberg. And when you look at Heidelberg, man, what a story. Finally get that championship.
Yeah, well, you know, motivation, revenge is a heck of a motivator. And you know, I think you saw that today. They came out, and what an exceptional performance from Chase Craft. I mean, my goodness, the kid was all over the place. He threw touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. He led the team in rushing. I mean, completely deserving MVP, you know, and just a sophomore. So can't wait to see, you know, what we get from him over the next 2 years, because if we get many more performances like that one, it's going to be a pretty special career.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, when you talk to you know, Daryl Carter, just a nice coach, a smart coach. He's a football guy. He's done a heck of a job in really building that culture there.
Yeah, and I got to give me one of those chains.
I love
man.
that chain.
That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They, you know, I think that it was one of those things where after what happened last year, I'm sure he didn't have to say much to that team this morning, but it was obvious that they were well coached. And I'll say this, Jake, the teams that I've seen this week that have had the most success are the teams that do really well on special teams. And his team played pretty well on special teams today. And on the other side, you saw Charleston kind of snap it out of the back of the end zone. They had another bad snap on a punt. They ended up giving Heidelberg the ball at the 5-yard line. They had a couple of really short punts, and I think it really came back to bite them in a game that they probably would have been, you know, a lot closer there at the end. But you know, you got to give these coaches credits. The teams that have won have really taken care of the football in the kicking game.
They have. We'll get with you next game break, our last one with the Grenada and Hattiesburg. We'll talk to your father, Rick, on some stuff as well. But Louisville and Poplarville, different styles. They've seen each other before 2 or 3 times in this. Louisville's always gotten the best. Do they do it again today?
I mean, like I told you yesterday, you go broke betting against Louisville in state championships, and I'm way beyond that. They certainly look better getting off the bus, I'll say that. I think that Poplarville, they must be efficient in what they do. They've got to control. They got to do basically exactly what West Point did last night. They got to take care of the football. They got to, you know, get a couple of turnovers, and I think if they can hold the ball and keep that Louisville offense off the field, you know, I think it'll go a long way for them. And I'll say this, their offense really does match up well against Louisville, because it takes, like Robbie was saying, it kind of takes their best players off the, you know, they're going to have to play the run, and it's not so much about personnel, it's about being in the right place at the right time. So,
well, Tyler, appreciate you. We'll catch up next game break, and we'll talk about that other one. Let's take a timeout. We come back. Rion Young will close us out here on the Game Break Show. Back in a minute. Thank you. Back in Hattiesburg, it is the Game Break Show as we carry on here now. Rion Young, 247sports.com, Gene's page. He's all over the place. High school, college. Rion, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Oh, yeah, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. All right, so Heidelberg gets to win. Man, that's a talented bunch down there. And congratulations to them, first championship.
Oh, yeah. And you can see Coach Carter feeling a lot better than he did last year when they lost. He was very emotional last year when they lost.
He was. So take us through what you've seen, some moments that stuck out for you. I mean, J.J. Hill, Tupelo this week, they get a championship. Brandon gets close again, but no cigar. You got Choctaw County getting a championship. We've just seen some great players from, Noxubee County all the way down to West Point, and we got Louisville coming up here with Poplarville next.
Oh, yeah, that Tupelo game was a very good game. I was glad to see Jaden Hill have a good game, especially with me being a Mississippi State beat writer. I was very excited to see him have a good game. Kind of hate that Brandon didn't get it done, but, I'm pretty sure they'll be back again.
When you look at West Point last night, were you shocked at all that they get another one, even though change of coaches, now they get another one?
It didn't shock me at all. That pedigree has been the same since my dad was playing football. It's changed a little bit, but one thing about them, they love to run the ball. That's what they do. That's their bread and butter.
This game coming up here, Louisville, Poplarville. Louisville, 12 championships, and not just 12. They've never lost one of these.
Never.
So as Tyler Cleveland said, he said, you'll go broke betting against Louisville. Do they get another one today?
Oh, yeah, man, definitely. I'm a Louisville guy through and through. We definitely get another one today. I don't see Poplarville beating Louisville today at all.
Talk about that culture. That's what you said. Hey, I'm a Louisville guy. We don't lose these. But that is a blood right almost in football in that town, is it not?
Look, nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to wake up and go to the barbershop and tell them that they lost the first state championships. When you go to the barbershops on Saturday morning, it's going to be somebody telling you about yourself when you lost. The town, everything we do, just our energy, every way we move. That's why they call us Big Louisville. You know what I'm saying? Because, we do everything big when it comes to playing football.
We want to get you back in the next Game Break Show after this, but for my last question, we'll talk a little recruiting with you. Grenada Hattiesburg coming up tonight. Boy, what a story. Tony Vance, Deuce Vance, they get a chance to play here and, try to win a championship, taking on a very good Grenada team tonight.
Oh, yeah. Deuce Vance was at Charleston one time when Grenada was in 5A, and he was beating them. So he may have the formula, but I don't know. That Grenada team is loaded with a lot of talent on the field, so it's going to be a good one to see it. I'm guaranteed we're going to see a lot of running in football from them tonight.
Rion Young, we'll get him back on next Game Break and talk a little recruiting. Rion, thank you always. Always.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get ready to toss it upstairs. It is the Game Break Show. Back in a bit.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Final segment on this Game Break Show. Of course, we are brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's good to be blue here on the Side Set Show. Game Break Show. We'll have one more show for the weekend coming up after this one. getting you set. We're going to toss it up to Brian Eubank, who will be on the call for Louisville and Poplarville. And we'll get to more of this history right now and then kind of carry on. You know, Louisville 12-0 in championships. They beat Columbia 19-6. That was last year to win 4A. Back in 2022, they beat Mendenhall 17-14. That was a very, very good championship game. And then when you kind of comb down through here, it was a couple years, 2, 3, or 4. It was all the way back to you have to go back to 2018. Louisville beat this Poplarville team 25-20 back in 2018. And then you keep going down through here just like you can West Point on my little spreadsheet here, and you can find Louisville everywhere. 30-28 over Hazelhurst in 2013. That was a fantastic game. That was at the Vet. I remember that. I believe I was on a radio call for that game. Then you get over to other years here for them, and I'm just looking for a couple more here. Back in 2008, they defeated Tylertown 26-21. They've not blown teams out in these games, which is what's fascinating, but they have won them, and they have won them, you know, by being a smarter team, a more athletic team, energetic team. And, you know, you take this Poplarville team who has, you know, they've just taken it on the chin. They probably would have won a lot of these, but the fact is you're matched up against Louisville. So you're going to see two corresponding styles here today. If you're not familiar with each, you're going to see Louisville, who's going to spread it out. They're going to throw it around. They're going to also use the run. 50-50 run-pass ratio type team, but Poplarville, a team that is going to get under center. They're going to run the wing tee. They've been doing this for a long time. You're going to see them with a smaller offensive line, an athletic offensive line, not the big physical offensive lines that you see. A lot of pulling guards, pulling tackles, a lot of motion, guys going each way. They're going to run some pace and tempo with it. It's a very fun style to watch. And they will throw out of it, but so you may only give 2 or 3 throws in a football game. Very similar to what you see out of Picayune or even West Point last night. All run first, oriented first type teams. You know, something that we kind of lost in football as we've moved to the spread, but they do a great job. So I think it's going to be a great chess match between the two and the two corresponding styles. And again, I want to remind you that we will be back again, one more game break show tonight as we get you set for Grenada and Hattiesburg. And again, two great storylines there when you talk about Grenada. Coach Farr and everything he's built at Grenada. They come up short last year in Oxford against West Jones. Now they'll have an opportunity to come south and play Hattiesburg. Conversely, Hattiesburg playing right here, just, I mean, down the road. You talk about, you know, kind of drawing this one up. Oak Grove had an opportunity to do that here as well. It's just right down the road. Head over to your home stadium, you know, from your place, 5 miles over, play a championship game, and the town behind you. So it should be a fascinating game coming up tonight. I'll remind you, you still got time to get out here and get a ticket. Go to gofan.com if you want tickets, if you're close and you're coming in, or go to misshsaa.com for more information. And again, so far we have crowned 2, 4, 5 champions. This will be the 6th champion coming up here, and we'll talk about it when we get back, and we'll set you up for the 7th and final championship. We're going to kick it upstairs to Brian Eubank. Get you set for Louisville and Poplarville. We're brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. We'll see you after the ball game.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi would like to say congratulations to all of the teams on making it to this year's Gridiron Classic.
We are proud to continue our partnership with the MHSAA to support student athletes in our state. Getting to the state championship is a huge accomplishment and require you to put in hours of hard work and dedication.
And we're talking to the players, coaches, and staff, along with all of the support from family, friends, and the community. So as you take the field one more time this season, take a moment to think about just how far you've come and those who've helped you get here.
We are proud to partner with MHSAA to support student athletes in our wonderful state. As Mississippi's health leader, we know the healthier students are, the better they perform in and out of the classroom. And that leads to overall success for our Mississippi schools.
Now let's enjoy a little healthy competition. Good luck to all of the teams, and remember, no matter what your team's colors are, it's good to be blue.
1 second from half court. Jumping for joy.
First ever.
A 2-on-1. Oh!
Did he bring it in? He did.
It is.
Live from the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, it's time for another Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic, the 4A MHSAA Football Championship, all presented by Bank Plus between Louisville and Poplarville. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Eubank, joined in the booth by Cliff Barker, and we're getting ready for yet another title tilt between another pair of teams that have a lot of history potentially being made today. Louisville trying to equal West Point's 13th state title they won last night. Meanwhile, Poplarville, they're just looking for their first.
Yeah, and the most impressive stat about Louisville, not only are they going for their 13th state title, they are 12-0 in state title games. The Louisville team has been tough when they can get to the championship level.
Perfect is 12 for 12, obviously. And then on the other side, you got Poplarville, and Xavier Hunt is the key guy we're going to be keeping our eyes on for the Hornets.
Yeah, and Poplarville, on the other hand, 0-4, but Xavier Hunt's going to try to change that. Xavier Hunt is 1,484. Excuse me, we're looking at Ty Keys, so we'll jump to Ty Keys.
I gave you the right team. I gave you the wrong player.
So Ty Keys, 435 rush yards on an abbreviated season. He missed several games with an injury. He's back now, 6 touchdowns on the year. He's going to be a key for the Poplarville Hornets.
Yeah, suffered an injury before the season ever began with his collarbone. Came back right at the second week of the playoffs, and he's a big factor. He's got 8 Division I offers. He'll be a guy that we'll definitely keep our eyes on. Now we'll go over to the other side with Louisville.
All right, so Xavier Hunt with some big numbers for Louisville. Xavier Hunt's a kid with 1,484 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 554 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. So to say he's a key to Louisville would be an understatement. Xavier Hunt makes the Louisville offense go.
Now, these coaches, of course, they sometimes will give you coach speak when they talk about keys. Sometimes they'll give you some insight, and sometimes they'll just give you a whole lot of information you can hardly digest. These two coaches, phenomenal in sharing information. We thank both of you, Coach Shorter and Coach Beach, for being so forthcoming with the information. Now let's take a look at your Farm Bureau keys to the game for these two sides.
Yeah, and first we'll take a look at Poplarville. They want to sustain drives and conversions. They want to make sure when they get in those third down situations, and even if they get in the fourth down situations, they're able to move the chains. They also want to be relentless in their pursuit to the ball, play from sideline to sideline. Louisville wants to establish the run, get that run game rolling early and often. They also want to be disciplined defensively. Don't give up the big play. Don't get beat deep. Don't give up that missed tackle that creates a huge touchdown for Poplarville.
One other factor of these games, it's all about what they do in the classroom. It's why they are student athletes, and each team had a player recognized. And for first off, for Louisville, it was Cameron Skeen, the offensive lineman and junior, getting the honor. On the Poplarville side, Ben Will, the senior, as well, in a fullback position, injured, unable to participate in today's game, but nonetheless recognized for what he was able to pull off in the classroom as well. Congratulations to both of those young men, and thanks to BSN Sports for that incredible sponsorship and recognition of these student athletes. So history is going to be made one way or the other here today. Either 13 out of 13 for Louisville, or Poplarville finally gets their first title in school history, all here next on the NFHS Network.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
The Poplarville Hornets taking the field along with the Louisville Wildcats as they look for a state title. We check in with a third member of our broadcast crew, Lance, down on the field.
Well, hey, guys, this is a Louisville team. The last 5 games, a 38-point margin of victory. The defense has pitched 2 shutouts, only allowing a total of 20 points. On the flip side, Poplarville, 2 wins in the last 4 games, only by a point. And then the win last week, South State against Forest, only by 3 points. So we'll see if that trend continues tonight and if it plays into tonight's big game. Should be a good one, guys.
Thank you so much, Lance. You get a good look at both coaches involved in this matchup. Tyrone Shorter on your right, Jay Beach on the left. And boy, Jay Beach has done nothing during his tenure except compile a record of 118 wins and 34 losses, and playoff record of 34-10 with 5 South State titles, 7 region titles in 10 years. And now we're set for the Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center kickoff. And they're lined up from that 40-yard line. Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center celebrating 40 years of keeping athletes in the game and fans on their feet. High end-over-end kick, and we are officially underway at just shy of 4 p.m. for the 6th out of 7 state championships here on the NFHS Network in Hattiesburg. And the first drive for Poplarville will start at the 36th as Louisville won the coin toss, deferred to the second half.
Yeah, Coach Beach with that 0-4 record in the state championship, you know that's on his mind all the time. He wants to get a win in that win column and turn that 0-4 into 1-4. And how big would that be for this Poplarville group? A good-looking group of athletes down there for both these schools.
Look, in the last 7 years, these 2 teams have been incredible. Poplarville 76-20. And then 91-10 for Louisville in the last 7 years of football. First handoff goes straight up the middle. Positive yards for Nick Miller across the 40-yard line.
Yeah, nice movement along that offensive front, that zone blocking scheme for Poplarville. And got some gaps to get some positive yards in the run game early.
Your Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi starting 11. You see Miller, of course, Ty Keys, the running back we talked about. Jason Blackman's going to be a force, of course, distributing the ball for these Hornets.
Yeah, Ty Keys is a guy that's got a lot of offers. He's had limited action this year, but back to nearly full speed now late in the season and hoping he can make his mark here in this state championship.
Offset eye. Again, another handoff to Nick Miller. This one is for a first down and into Louisville territory.
Nick Miller listed at 5'9", 180, but runs big.
Your Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi defensive starters for the Wildcats. Getting a good look at that line. Of course, the linebackers as well, keyed in there by McKinney and Coleman. So first down for the Hornets into Louisville territory on just 2 plays.
Yeah, and some big bodies in skill positions for the Poplarville ball team. They've got tight ends and fullbacks in their lead blocking, trying to get this run game going.
Now a keeper for Ty Keys. to the outside. You see what a difference maker he is and why he has 8 Division I offers. First down, Hornets at the 29 of Louisville.
And to call Keys explosive would be an understatement. That kid's got a different gear. He just looked like he was floating out there in the open space.
Aiden Graham, a phenomenal pulling guard, giving him that great opening down to the 29-yard line. First down for Poplarville. We'll see continual rotation into that quarterback position / Wildcat package, as now back in there is Sidney Blackman. They'll give to Keys. Keys cut down to the 25. Blackman is a young man who's gone just 31. He's a serviceable quarterback, 31 of 69, 864. Doesn't have to do too much with the running attack that they have, but a pretty good balance with 9 touchdowns and only 4 picks.
And if you look at Poplarville, what you're seeing offensively is basically a shotgun wing tee. It's a lot of guys packed in there tight, typically a wing back, 1 to 2 backs in the backfield, just the quarterback in the shotgun rather than under center.
Blackman also had to tote the mail some because of the injury to Keys. He and Miller had to share some of that load. He had 101 carries during the season, did Blackman 460 yards and 4 touchdowns. Keys will get this opportunity, follow his guard again, gets the first down, and now finds himself inside the red zone down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, just an old school buck sweep. Just pull a lineman, get him out in front of the big running back Keys and let him do what he does. And now well within right on the 10-yard line. Is it going to be first and goal or first and 10? First and goal for Poplarville.
Right at the 10, Aiden Graham again, one of those pulling guards, able to burst him forward for that big-time gain of 16 yards. Keys making an impact, 3 carries for 38 so far.
Exactly. Keys is a difference maker in this ball game.
Not out there on this play, though. An inside carry for Zach Case. Maybe a yard.
The counter did not fool Louisville. They've been running on that first guy in motion all the way down the field, and now put him out in a fake, sent the counter back to the other side with a couple of lead guys. But down there on that, a linebacker, Corbin Sanders for Louisville, was not fooled and took care of business.
Poplarville looking at second and goal at the 9-yard line of Louisville. Good crowd on hand from both sides. Well-attended championships throughout this weekend.
In Poplarville, one of the keys to the game was to sustain drives. They've done that so far in the opening possession.
The Wild Hornet package goes to Nick Miller on the straight up the middle carry for minimal, if any, yardage whatsoever. Looks like it's going to be third and goal coming up on the 7th play of this drive.
Made by number 25, Trayvon McDonald.
And another big play by the big man down there at linebacker. That is Trayvon McDonald, 6'2". I misread that number earlier. That was Trayvon McDonald, a defensive lineman at 6'2", 240, making those 2 plays.
This is a big down in distance here. Third down. If you're going to go forward on 4-down territory, you would love to get down to maybe the 1 or 2 yard line. We'll see what happens here. Straight give, and it's going to be looking to run, now throw, and throwing it away at the last moment, but not beyond the line of scrimmage, is the tough play there by Keys. We're going to see exactly what the call is here.
The flag has not been dropped yet, but the officials are discussing it, and I fully expect an intentional grounding.
And the ball went out of bounds at the 12, and there it is. And the line of scrimmage was the 9, so that's going to be a loss of down and yardage there. Got to get it beyond the line of scrimmage.
Illegal forward pass, intentional grounding on the offense. 5-yard foul from the spot of the foul, loss of down, 4th down.
So that goes from 4th and goal at the 9 all the way back to about the 23, 24, depending upon. He forgot to turn his mic off.
No, I almost feel like I put a little bit of the announcer jinx on him. As soon as I talked about sustaining this first drive, it came to a complete stall, and now we're going to see a field goal attempt from Poplarville.
And instead of somewhat of a chip shot extra point type, it's going to be now a 37-yard attempt.
Not by any means an automatic field goal. And now it looks like Poplarville has decided to pull that field goal unit off and are they sending the offense back out on the field? Yes, sending the offensive unit back out on the field, and 4th and goal from the 20.
Well, Schultz's long was 23 this year. He's only 2 out of 4, so that's why.
Yeah.
A little bit out of his range once that penalty came into play. 4th and goal at the 20-yard line. Blackman, play action. Looks at 3 different targets, fires right down the seam. Touchdown, Hornets. They convert on 4th down. Zach Case with the touchdown reception, his 11th of the season.
Yeah, what a gutsy play call by the Poplarville coaching staff, and what a great route and a great throw.
They call those the route trees, and we had so many different limbs to choose from.
He did. That seam route was looking really nice. The good leverage by the receiver, Zach Case.
Samuel came over, but just a fraction too late to get to Case to disrupt that play. So they convert on 4th down and get a touchdown despite the long penalty that knocked him way back to the 20. So that is an impressive start to a drive. 9 plays, 63 yards, and it eats up 4:08 off the clock.
Yeah, great drive by Poplarville, just what they needed, and thankfully they cleared my announcer jinx for the first quarter.
Well, you know, it happens. It is just part of it. I'm Brian Eubank, joined, of course, up here in the booth by Cliff Barker. Lance LaFan down on the field, also part of our broadcast team this afternoon. Big thanks to the entire crew for all the work they did. They had to really scramble on Thursday morning to get everything set up because of some late arriving equipment that got stuck in traffic, basically, you would like to say. But they just worked an incredible job getting all that set up for us to be able to give you these broadcasts. And they've worked through the elements these last 2 days. The guys that are out there on camera, Justin and Clark and all the others that I've seen out there that have been running camera, we appreciate each and every one of you guys for all the work you've done.
Yeah, they've had windy days, cold days. I've even seen some cameramen take contact on the sidelines. We've got some resilient guys out there making this broadcast look as good as it does.
Yeah, that's Justin on the sideline. He doesn't really take contact. He gives contact. He's unbelievable. All right, so we might have had a penalty.
It looks like we did.
That came after the extra point that we didn't see or hear. Looks like they're going to kick off from the 45-yard line. Must have been some unsportsmanlike conduct happening.
It's a 15-yard penalty, so it does appear. Everything going the way of the Hornets here in the first 5 minutes of the football game.
I mean, I know you don't think about an onside kick right here this early in the ballgame, but do you?
I don't know. I mean, well, I won't say at worst, but in all likelihood, you'd end up around the 30 to 35-yard line if you didn't recover it. So what have you really got to lose at this point? I like your thinking. And I think that's what we might see. It is. You can see that angled T, and they're loading one side.
We'll see here. Chadwick Brown's got it teed up.
A little gamesmanship in the first quarter.
The old phrase, "Have you got nothing to lose," right?
That's right. 0-4 in championships, you got to take some risks to get over that hill.
He's got everybody lined up where he wants. And here's the kick, and it will be an onside kick, and smothered perfectly by the Wildcats. And that was Corbin Sanders with that job of recovering that. He was the one that was just beaten a moment ago on that touchdown, so good job to kind of come back from that. They talk about Louisville, Cliff, and one of the quotes that Coach Shorter mentioned was, "Pressure is a privilege." And it gives you a chance to show everyone what you're made of, and that's what the Louisville Wildcats have been doing. So we take a look at your Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi offensive starters, keyed there by Haynes, Jernigan, and Hunt, of course, some of those talented young men in the skill positions.
Yeah, you want to be that guy that everybody's chasing after, and that's exactly what Louisville is. They're the big man on the block. They've won all those state championships, and you like to have that pressure.
Jernigan gets about 5 on first down. Good job to stay ahead of the change there, if you will, on schedule. There's your defensive starters for the Poplarville Hornets, of course, under the direction of Coach Beach. And it's all about that linebacking crew. Harmon, Martin, and Pearson. Those are 3 guys that are going to have a lot of work on their play today.
Yeah, if they're going to slow down Louisville, they're going to have to play their best game of the season.
A little end around. Haynes pushes the pile forward for a first down. Haynes comes into this contest with 96 carries, 786 yards, and 12 touchdowns.
There's some talented athletes in that backfield for Louisville, and the good thing is they've got lots of options. You've got several different guys that can carry the load back there in the backfield, and when you've got different weapons you have to account for, it really stretches a defense thin.
Xavier Hunt goes all the way to the sideline to get the play and then runs it back in. He's 95 out of 162 on the year for 1,155 yards, 12 TDs, 8 picks. He's also got 52 carries for 450 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. It's a toss this time. Back to Haynes. Haynes spilled after about a 5-yard gain again. Excellent job of getting over there by Josh Beck.
Aiden Harmon in there on the tackle as well, but a nice tackle in open space that prevented a much larger gain for Louisville.
– 2nd down, actually only picked up about 3. I guess he slid a little extra. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt there. Pressure is there, and that should go. Boy, it's a flag. That's gonna be grounding. For a second there, it looked like it might have even been a fumble.
Yeah, and it was definitely a pass. Let's hear the official's explanation.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 yards from that spot. So both teams now have had a grounding penalty in their first possession.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 9. 5 yards from the spot of the foul. Loss of down, 3rd down.
And, you know, it's a much bigger penalty than 5 yards because it occurred 10 yards deep in the backfield. So it becomes almost a 15-yard penalty. I think that says 20. Yeah, it becomes a 13-yard penalty, 23 yards to go. No, it does. It was a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, 3rd and 23 now. All the way back to the 36-yard line. Look, math is hard on the weekends for everybody. A pass that is nearly intercepted. I mean, how in the world did Aiden Harmon not bring that ball in? He's trying to ask himself the same question.
He didn't just get one hand on it. He got 2 hands on it. That could have been possibly a game-changing play because that's likely a pick 6 if he comes away with that interception.
And it might have been that Haynes got in the way a little bit and also got a hand on there too that messed up his timing a little bit, but Harmon says he probably should have had that. Josh Ammons back to kick for Louisville. Deep to receive, Zach Case. Poplarville got a score in their first possession. Louisville did not. They'll give it back to the Hornets, and it will take a bounce and come to a stop at about the 31-yard line. Well, 7-0 here in Hattiesburg.
Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Mississippi Farm Bureau. Go with the home team. Bank Plus. It's more than a name, it's a promise. And by C-Spire. Inspired by you.
Welcome back to Hattiesburg. Big surprise that Zayden Jernigan not used at all in that first possession for Louisville. I imagine that will probably change the next time they get the football. What hasn't changed is Poplarville's giving the ball to Ty Keys. That's already his 5th carry of the game.
Yeah, and you know that this Louisville defense is focusing on number 5. That's got to be their primary target to stop. That's a kid that just is, he's all world back there in that Poplarville backfield. And if he gets going, it's going to open up so many other options for the Hornets. But Louisville, that play did a great job of slowing him down. You got to wonder if they can continue to repeat that throughout the game.
Sidney Blackman, already a touchdown pass in this ballgame on a 4th down conversion. Finds his favorite target, Zach Case, for a big gain on 2nd down.
And a nifty little move by Case over on the sidelines. It only netted him an extra yard or 2, but it was a sweet little move to jump back to the inside.
Case is now, wait to see when that one pops up. That was his 2nd catch for 9, maybe 10 yards. So he's hit 873 yards now in the season, just 127 shy of a 1,000-yard season.
Don't you know he'd like to see that number hit 1,000 tonight?
He'd much rather see the gold ball.
Well, that's true, but I think he would like both.
That would be nice. The double dip would definitely be very nice. 1st and 10. Oh, a little fake, or it's not, a direct snap.
Right.
It faked me out. Walt Graham. I was expecting Keys to get that coming in motion, but it went straight to Graham, and he was stopped for a loss of 1.
That's a little bit of that old school Notre Dame box where you can snap to any of 3 different people in the backfield. Now we've got an early penalty.
Each team has had a grounding penalty and also a
sideline warning. Louisville. That's their first warning.
And what's interesting, too, here at Southern Miss, look at all that room you've got. It's not what you're used to at the high school level. Usually, you don't get that much space on the sideline. So sometimes you get confused as to where exactly you can stand, and if you get in the way of an official, well, you're going to get a flag.
You're going to get it every time.
That wasn't a penalty, obviously. The next one will result in a 5-yard mark-off. 2nd and 11 for the Hornets. Already leading this game 7-0. Keys will keep it, follow his guard again, gets in the opening for a moment and is taken down at midfield.
Yeah, Keys is really effective from the running back position, but honestly, I feel like he's the biggest weapon when he's in that Wildcat-style quarterback position. I feel like he's got more options. Plus, you always have to remember, when you don't have a quarterback handing off or passing, you have an extra blocker. So that gives you an extra man blocking for Keys when he takes the direct snap.
And Aiden Graham has just been, I think he loves it when Keys comes in the game because there's nothing a guard loves more than pulling.
Oh, I can't agree more.
3rd and about 2. Maybe a long 3, we'll call it. And not able, but maybe on 2nd effort, Keys might have gotten it thanks to his lanky frame. He does stand 6 feet tall, but might have gotten enough. So sometimes they talk about chemistry. Well, right there. Just hold on for the ride, young man.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be a play that's going to be rewound many, many times by Aiden Graham. He's really going to like to see that.
He's like, hey, this is how you do it. Just follow me. Follow my lead. Now here we go with the measurement. Did he get enough? I think he's got to be really close here. They'll stretch the chains out, and we'll see it together. And it is, in fact, a 1st down by the nose of the football.
Yeah, I've got to take into consideration we're not directly on the 50-yard line in the box up here. We're a little bit down to the north side of the field, about the 40, so angles are a little bit different, not quite as clear at midfield.
So 1st down for the Hornets. That is already their 5th first down of this ball game. They're outgaining Louisville in plays 14-5 and in yards 84-1.
Yeah, time of possession 4:08 to 1:59.
Another counter, this one to Keys. He's out to the 40, a gain of 8.
Yeah, and I think that time of possession number is even bigger than that. I don't think that's up to date because we're further into the game than that. But time of possession heavily on the side of Poplarville.
You have to wonder would they have experienced those 2 losses this year with Keys in the lineup as he checks out now. Such a difference maker. Blackman throws another seam route. This time it's one-on-one coverage and an over-the-shoulder interception by the Wildcats. That'll probably be shy of the goal line around inside the 5. The Wildcats don't care where it is. That's a big-time interception by Kalen McCon.
And a big chance for Louisville to really stall that momentum of Poplarville. Everything has gone the way of the Hornets. Louisville struggled, but the only issue for Louisville is they're deep in their own territory. They've got to move the chains a couple of times here and get some favorable field position.
5th pick thrown by Blackman as Macon hauls that in at about the 4. Hey, if you're an SEC fan, by the way, a quick update there. Texas leads Georgia 6-0, a pair of field goals in the first half in Atlanta. Here it's 7-0 Hornets, and they look like they were about to have another potential good drive there going. Keys checked out. They went to the air attack and gave the ball away to a very stiff Louisville defense. You heard Lance talk about the impressive, oh, look at this run. It's off and running. You're going to see an impressive run of 94 yards. No one's going to catch him, and that's an easy, smooth touchdown for Xavier Hunt.
Xavier Hunt made that look simple.
Nope, that was Jernigan. But the jersey
that was
number,
Jernigan.
Yeah, the jersey number 8 and 9. I thought I saw it for a second. Yeah, it is Jernigan. He only touched the ball one time that first possession. This time, he now puts himself over 100 yards for the game on 2 carries.
Yeah, some very thin numerals on the back of those Louisville jerseys make it difficult to.
Once he hurdled that first defender, it was a foot race, and he wasn't going to lose it.
No, he was not. That was a beautiful run and a big momentum changer for the Wildcats.
Jernigan's 22nd rushing touchdown. He's now almost at 1,500 yards for the season. That is Hunt running in the extra point. Nope, that is Jernigan. Look how hard that 8 and 9 are from up here. Thank goodness we have cameras that can tell us exactly what we can't see. Jernigan, 94 yards to pay dirt for his 22nd TD. And also capped off with the 2-point conversion. Jernigan now at 1,488 yards. 12 shy of 1,500.
That's an embarrassment of riches with the production of Jernigan and Hunt for that Louisville team.
What a swing. Poplarville looks like they're dominating the game early. You talked about time of possession, and then Keys checks out. Blackman throws the pick, and bang.
It's sudden change. You know, you have to take advantage of sudden change, whether that's a fumble, in this case, whether it's an interception, and Louisville showed exactly how you did it. My expectation was, if you were Louisville, you try to get the ball in a little more favorable field position, get it 20 to 30 yards up the field, but guess what? Louisville decided, let's go ahead and take care of business in one play.
Jernigan's like, no, yeah.
One play.
I'm going to run so fast, I'm not even going to let the guy figure out who I am.
Oh, at some point in that run, I felt like he had 15 yards of separation. I know he really didn't have that much, but he was well past that defense for Poplarville.
So 8-7 Wildcats. Poplarville now finds themselves behind by a point in another state championship game. So far 0 for 4 in state title games. They appeared in titles in 2018, 2020, 22, and 23. But still, I'm sorry, 18, 19, and 20. There we go. And then 16 was the other one. They were in 3 straight. 16, then 18, 19, and then 20. Those are the 4 appearances. So still looking for that first one in here at number 5.
Yeah, it's tough to win at this championship level. When you get down to the final 2 teams left in a whole division, you're seeing the best of the best, and that cream rises to the top. And it's just so tough to come away with a victory in championship games. You see so many teams that have positive playoff records all the way through the semifinals, and then you look at the finals record, a lot of teams struggle in championships.
Blackman a pick in his last pass. What will they go with here? It'll be a straight handoff. Very little running room. Louisville's pinning their ears back now. Zach Case dropped for a minimal gain. They've met twice before in a state championship setting, and it was in 2018, the first time right here in Hattiesburg. Louisville won the game 25-20 over Poplarville. Then they met in Jackson on the COVID year, and that was the close one, 15-14.
Wow, they've played well versus Louisville, just unable to get over that hump. But you can see a difference in the body language of this Louisville defense this time around. The last possession, they were moving around a little bit slower. They've got some pep in their step now, and they're ready to rock and roll out there on defense.
Blackman checks out, and Keys still remains out of the game. We still don't know what's happened to him. Nick Miller is the one who entered the game to get that direct snap. Got yardage to the 35, so that's going to bring up third down and about 7-8 yards.
Louisville looks like they're committed to stopping the run. They've got 4 linemen down on that line of scrimmage, and 2 linebackers walked up.
And look who's back. Old number 5, Ty Keys. So make an impact here.
Essentially a 6-man front for Louisville at this point in the ball game, committed to stopping the run. You know, that you wonder if maybe, especially now with the quote-unquote throwing quarterback coming back in the game, and Blackman, if maybe Poplarville tries to sneak out a receiver.
A little double handoff, and Miller almost lost a football, gets to the edge but can't quite get the first down. Louisville in hot pursuit with a clean stop. It's McKinney.
A little trickeration, but Louisville not fooled quite well enough, and it comes up 1 yard shy. Is Poplarville gutsy enough to leave that offense on the field? He did almost fumble. You are correct.
Corbin Sanders got a hand on it, jostled the ball, but he was able to regather it. And now Poplarville thinks they need to go for it on this 4th and 1 at their own 41. Well, they try to draw them off sides first. Play clock is under 10. They may burn a timeout here, and that looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. So Coach Beach wants to talk about this 4th down decision, and we've ended the first quarter as well here in Hattiesburg. Poplarville scored first. Louisville responded, and they lead 8-7 after a quarter here in Hattiesburg on the NFHS Network.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Welcome back to Hattiesburg. Before we start the second quarter, last night I had the chance to catch up with Kayla Mangrum, who is the Corporate Communications Manager of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi, and here's what she had to say. Kayla, why is it so important for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi to be a sponsor here this weekend?
So for us, we know that the healthier kids are, the better they perform in and outside of the classroom. And so with the teamwork and everybody working towards the same goal, we know that it's going to support not just themselves, their families, but the community at large.
You know, it's good to be blue. Unfortunately, sometimes with the temperature, it's not good to be blue, right? But up in the Delta, you got something special going on.
Yeah, so we actually have Blue Health Mobile, and that's a mobile primary care clinic that is going to workplaces in these Delta communities so that they can get primary care on their lunch break.
We're so grateful again for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi for being a sponsor, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Back to you guys. All right, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Didn't know I could do that. But it is a first down carry for Poplarville, so they obviously lined up exactly what they wanted to out of that extended timeout with the quarter and get the first down to the 45.
Yeah, they only needed one and got about 4 or 5, so a nice play by Poplarville.
Blackman hands it off, and that will be a positive carry once again for Keys, maybe to the 46, 40. Oh, wow. They actually
what a
wound
spot.
up, yeah, actually give the 48.
On schedule for Poplarville. I thought he maybe gained 1 yard. That's a full 3 yards. But Keys does a good job of falling forward. He's got a lot of hop when he runs. You notice when he gets into the hole, he doesn't just step forward. He has an explosive step forward, and I think that allowed him to fall forward for an extra yard or 2.
And it doesn't hurt that he's over 6 feet tall.
That's true. That's true.
Me falling forward would not gain very much.
I'm still shocked by the size of the tight ends and fullbacks over there. They've got some big guys blocking for Ty Keys.
Direct snap to Keys. He tries to follow his big fella, Aiden Graham. Graham got knocked down a little early. We'll also see a lost helmet on the Louisville side. He'll have to come off the field. That is Robbins, but an excellent vision here by Keys.
And, you know, we've got a story we need to talk about, too, because that just reminds me one of those big blocking backs for Poplarville is an injured lineman that missed most of the season and came back at the end of the year. Let me look that fact up. That's an interesting side note.
And I'm telling you, Jay Beach and Tyrone Shorter.
They sent so much stuff.
An overabundance of information, which normally you don't get at the high school level. But we are so appreciative for all the nuggets they were able to share with us. Zach Case denied, lost 3 yards back to the 50-yard line. If you ask Hattiesburg High, they've got one state title. Happened back in 1924 against Louisville, who claims 12 out of 12. But that's in the modern era. That was Josh West with that little nugget. In fact, it happened back on December the 5th of 1924, literally over 100 years ago.
That's amazing to think about.
The game was played in Laurel, by the way. We love to share information. That's what we do. I asked Josh, I said, hey, what's your one nugget you want to share with me today? So that was the one he chose. 4th down and 5. He'll be back on the call tonight for the final game of this coverage for this weekend. High end over end kick by Jeremiah Moss, and it is bobbled. Who's going to come away with the football? 3 white jerseys and then a Louisville jersey, and guess what? The odds of 1 out of 4 actually pay off this time for Haynes. Zarian Haynes, very fortunate there.
First and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
He came up to try to field it, saw the bobble, and then dove on it right before Zay Smith could get to him. So 8-7, Louisville gets the ball back. 9:25 to go in the first half.
All right, I've got our story. Well, I will save this story until Poplarville goes back on offense. We've got an interesting offensive lineman story.
Empty backfield and early movement. By the way, the guys in the truck let us know that Georgia did get a field goal back, so it's now 6-3 in the SEC title game.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Early movement by Dante Cross will force Louisville to start off at 1st and 15. And Texas gets a field goal. Well, there's a flag there now. We'll come back to that. Here it's 8-7 Louisville. Wildcats trying to equal West Point's 13th record-breaking state title they captured last night in impressive fashion. A rare passing team, and this one will go down the seam, but again, just out of the reach of his intended target, in Aiden Coleman.
Pass intended for number 13, Aiden Coleman. It's 2nd and 15.
59% completion percentage, but only 162 passes. That's not a ton for a season.
That's correct. Just enough to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, almost 1,200 yards passing for Xavier Hunt.
So efficient, I guess, is what we would refer to that as.
They'll hand it off this time. Jernigan trying to fight through contact. Does get the penalty yardage back now, almost to the 20.
Jernigan, a tough runner. This Poplarville defense, though, is playing the part here early in this ball game. They've come ready to play, and each drive, I feel like they've gotten a little better and a little better.
So now 3rd and 12. Didn't quite get all that penalty yardage back.
No, that is outside of the one defensive breakdown that allowed the 96-yard touchdown.
Good point. We're here at the Rock, and it is rocking for sure. Jernigan provides protection. Hunt rolls to his right, dumps it off, and a first down catch and run. That's Jaden Coleman out to the 35.
It's so tough on a defense when you've got a quarterback that can run the ball as well, and he gets in open space. As a defensive back and a linebacker, you have to make that decision. Do I come out of coverage and play run support, or do I stay back and play the pass? And it puts you in a tough position, and that's the kind of leverage that you have when you have the type of quarterback that can put that pressure on the defense.
And Xavier Hunt, boy, nearly across the line of scrimmage.
He was close.
Before he let that go. Wildcats now looking at 1st and 10. Coming near side is Haynes. Across the 45, back-to-back first down plays for the Wildcats. They're starting to feel it now.
Yeah, so many of these backs benefit from the zone blocking we see so often now, because it's not about cutting a guy down. It's just about shielding the defender from the running back. So you get skinny holes in the line of scrimmage, which is exactly what you saw there. And running backs understand how to exploit that, when to plant that outside foot, and when to get upfield for positive yardage.
You know, Haynes has got a couple of mouthpieces there, red and green in honor of Christmas, I guess, maybe. But I wonder how he decides which ones to go with. It goes with the red one on this play. I don't know if that means anything differently. Or
look at the unbalanced formation for Louisville. Only one lineman to the right of the center.
Something you see very much. And oh, mercy. Big hit up the middle by Parker Pearson, taking down Haynes.
Tackle at the 50-yard line.
Oh, a little extracurricular knee on the head there.
And the knee that landed on the head was from Joby Lambert, a 6 foot, 280-pound sophomore defensive lineman.
Yeah, and he's shaken up for sure. That had to hurt. They'll tend to him and check on him. I don't know if the coaches saw that he got hit in the head either.
That is unfortunate.
There's a 2nd down carry to about the 44-yard line or so.
Jernigan with the carry.
Jernigan, who already has over 100 yards on the night, thanks to that 96-yard touchdown run, carries for the 4th time and makes it 3rd down and about 1.
3rd down, 1 yard to go.
He's 3 yards away from 1,500 now. He provides blocking this time. Trying to pick up the 1st down carry was Corbin Sanders. And based on the spot, it looks like they had enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, Sanders needed a little over 1 yard, got a little over 2 yards, and converts the 1st down.
Ball at the 42-yard line. Louisville methodically marching the ball down the field here. This will be their 8th play of the drive.
Yeah, Louisville's shown you they can move the ball 2 ways. They can score explosively in one play, or they can grind it out.
5th first down of the game. Quick release to Jernigan. Hunt able to get the ball in space, kind of that extended handoff they often talk about. Enough for another 1st down for the Wildcats.
And Jernigan listed as 6 feet tall, 182. He's a good-looking athlete. Looks a little bigger than that.
He's been an impact player already. Has Jernigan now showing his skills of receiving the football, adding to his repertoire. And we have a whistle and a timeout on the field.
Now, if we're going to talk about the measurables of Jernigan, what class is Jernigan in?
Freshman.
Freshman.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
He's not the only one. Haynes is a freshman too, who just threw the football to him. Or not, no, I'm sorry, not the who's also the one that got hit in the head earlier. Number 1, Zarian Haynes, excuse me. So yeah, a lot of upside for this Louisville ball club. Oh, or not. Yep, we see when we have discrepancies on 2 different rosters. I saw it somewhere else, and I don't know who's right.
Well, it's just we'll have to look further to figure that out. He's listed as a senior on the roster I have, so maybe we'll flip a coin and decide what he is.
Maybe he's in the middle, sophomore or junior. Anything jump off the page so far at you stat-wise? I mean, time of possession still heavily in favor of Poplarville, but, a big play, short drive by Louisville on the scoring drive, it kind of skews that number.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the numbers, and the only thing that really jumps out at me is Keys' 5.4-yard average. And I know that's not a bad average, but with the explosive type of back that Keys is, I expected a couple of big plays out of him by now.
1st and 10 for Louisville. Underneath bubble screen goes to Triplett, and he is able to pick up 3 maybe.
Number 17, Cameron Triplett.
They knock him, or they spot him down at the 28.
And Keys with those 10 carries for 54 yards. He had the 1 carry for 19 yards, but outside of that, no really big carries for Keys. I think we'll see that change as the game moves along.
I'm Brian Eubank, joined by Cliff Barker, and down in the field, Lance LaFan, our 3rd member of the crew, will be catching up with the coaches at halftime. Appreciate his hard work this weekend as well. 2nd down and 7. A little over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Jernigan to the right side. Again, about a 3 or 4 yard pickup. 10th play of the drive.
The Louisville,
Jernigan, the ball carrier.
As I said, that explosive 1-play drive, and now we're already 9 plays into this drive, 3 minutes and 38 seconds off the clock.
23rd playoff appearance for this Louisville Wildcat squad. 6 straight years they've been in the postseason.
That means that's nearly a 50% clip that when they make the playoffs, they win the state championship.
Not a bad percentage. There's a 1st down reception. An impressive little scramble by Hunt, rolling the pocket out to his left, finding Haynes. Good to see him back in the ball game after getting hit in the head earlier and making a great catch.
Yeah. And a catch where he had to contort his body around, reach back behind him, a ball that was a little bit late and a little bit behind the receiver, but a great catch by that young man out of his receiver position.
Now 3 out of 4 on 3rd downs for Louisville. I believe 3 for 3 on this drive. A little lineman actually tripped up Corbin Sanders on his way across the line there. Still able to pick up a couple.
And Louisville's a team that does something you don't see that often anymore. Typically now teams are either under center or in the shotgun/pistol. You don't see a lot of teams go back and forth, or at least I don't recently in games that I've called. And Louisville is a team that freely will switch back and forth from under center, pistol, and shotgun.
Which says a lot, because that is not easy to do. Lofted ball, wide open, touchdown. Haynes from Hunt. Another TD connection. They had a 1-play scoring drive. Now they got a 13-play scoring drive. They lead this ball game 14-7.
And how pretty was that play? Great route to get up the top of the defense, but that ball was delivered perfectly. I don't think he could have reached out and handed the ball better than what he did on that pass.
Here's another 13 for 13 number. Xavier Hunt has 13 touchdown passes. Haynes has 13 touchdown catches.
Wow, that's impressive.
Extra point, up and good. 15-7, Louisville. What a start to this ball game after giving up the first score. They've scored 15 unanswered and lead by 8 here in Hattiesburg.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
The Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic is brought to you by College and Career Savings Mississippi. Avoid student loans. Open a plan today. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov. Ole Miss. Build your legacy at Ole Miss by visiting admissions.olemiss.edu. And by Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. Opportunities for independence.
Welcome back to Hattiesburg. Quick look at the scoring summary. Got almost a 6-minute drive. Let's check back in with Lance.
Guys, I have been watching the defensive backs for Poplarville, and you can tell they've been anticipating the run for good reason, and I knew it was just a matter of time. I'm sure the Louisville coaches saw it, and they did, took advantage. 7 points for Louisville.
Yeah, no doubt, Lance. This is a Poplarville secondary that's been beaten twice for a big pass play, once on 4th down, and then that one just right there.
Yeah, Louisville just throws so many weapons at you.
High end over end kick, taken inside the 20-yard line. And Poplarville's got a great return on. This might go the distance because you know who has the football again. Ty Keys, call it for 6. About an 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and Poplarville has re-energized their fan base.
And that may be the most shocking play of the day because Louisville kicked that directly to Keys. Bet we don't see that again today.
He's a playmaker, folks. The reason he's got 8 Division I offers.
He's an athlete, no doubt.
Now the extra point. Trying to make it a 1-point game. Not trying to chase points just right now. Too early in the game for that, so Poplarville settles for 1. How about that by Keys? Officially an 83-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. According to our incredible stat keepers here from Southern Miss, we appreciate their hard work this entire weekend. And once Keys gets to that second level, forget about it.
And the even more impressive fact, we talked about the freshman Jernigan for Louisville. Keys only a sophomore.
Wow.
Unbelievable. There's some talent in the underclassmen on both these football clubs. We've kind of seen that all weekend, though. It seems like that's been the story this weekend is youth on every football team.
It's one thing to have a senior with 8 Division I offers, but to have a sophomore with 8 Division I offers?
It's amazing.
For you, I mean, who got hurt? Wow.
So, as I said a moment ago, I don't believe we'll see Louisville. I think they'll make sure and locate Keys from here on out and not kick in his direction because, as I said, that kick was not just in his area, directly to Keys.
Here's the other thing, too. Remember, Louisville was just out, or Poplarville's defense was just on the field for almost 6 minutes.
Right.
13 plays. Will that play a factor on this next drive where they got to get right back out there after a kickoff return for a touchdown? This ball taken to the 25-yard line, and Haynes trying to answer the Keys return with a great one, but unfortunately has to settle for a decent one, and they'll start around the 45.
But as you watch the replay of that, how close was that? That's a shoestring tackle away from a possible return for a touchdown. I mean, he nearly popped out of that pile of humanity in the middle of that kickoff return.
1st and 10 Wildcats.
So 15-14. You like the fact that they didn't chase those points for a 2-point try?
I don't hate it at this point in the game. The kind of feel of this, I know we're in 3 minutes left in the first half, and there's only been 4 touchdown scores. I say only because these are a couple of high-powered teams. But I think this may be one of those games in the second half where there's multiple scores by both teams, and you'll have an opportunity to worry about that later.
Uh-oh, bad snap, and diving on it. No, unable to get to it. Oh, he finally did haul it in, though. Xavier Hunt saves a possession there. And remember, Louisville gets the ball to start the second half after deferring their option to the second half. So they would love to get a 2-for-1 opportunity here and almost gave the ball away there.
Well, it almost looked like Hunt was in no way prepared for the snap. I don't know if the center snapped it earlier or what happened, but Hunt never saw that ball coming till it was past him.
A 22-yard loss.
Oh, that's a big one.
17-yard loss. Boy, math is hard. You know, I'm adding too many numbers here up on the line. So 2nd and 27. Back at the 28-yard line. They have to get all the way to the Poplarville 45 for a first down, and now a flag flies.
It's going to be, I think it'll be another 5 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
A lot of pre-snap movement there on the front line for Louisville, and now that makes a difficult situation even difficulter.
I like it. 2nd and 32, a play you have drawn up all the time in your playbook.
Yes, this is not an ideal situation for Louisville. But Louisville is a team. If there's any team that could convert this, they've got the talent to do it.
If they don't get a lot of yardage here, which they get back to the 30, I wouldn't be surprised to see Poplarville burn one of their remaining timeouts here to try to conserve what's left of this clock. Because, again, Louisville gets the ball to start the second half, and they do, in fact, call one of their remaining timeouts.
Poplarville. That's the second charge timeout.
So that's their second timeout. Only one left for Poplarville on the timeout slate. And if they get a stop here, which, again, 3rd down and 26, you would feel like they would. They'll get the ball back with about a minute 45, maybe less.
Yeah, the odds are definitely in their favor. And, you know, Poplarville can go tempo if they need to. They can get quickly back to the line of scrimmage and make things happen. But, yeah, I think considering the fact you've got a 1-point game right now and, you know, Louisville gets the ball coming out after halftime, I think you've got to try to take a risk. It's not really even taking a risk. You've got to play aggressively in this last 2 minutes and try to put some points on the board.
Heidelberg finally did something earlier today that no one's been able to do, and that's a South team win a state title. The North had won the first 4 state championships, and looking at the way this one currently is going, it might go 5 out of 6, right?
Yeah, it could. But, yeah, that was the home sideline had been friendly through the first 4 games, but it did not go that way this morning.
Right now the home team leading this one 15-14. 3rd and 26. An empty backfield and another pre-snap penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd and 31.
Wow. Double wow. Yeah, this is a tough situation. Do you have a play for 3rd and 31?
You just want to get 10 or 15.
Would the clock operator please reset the clock to 1 minute 59 seconds, 1:59.
Yeah, accidentally ran the clock there just because of, you probably couldn't hear the whistle from, they're trapped inside of the booth with no windows, so they probably didn't hear the whistle where that happened and saw the snap occur, so they started the clock. They'll roll it here, right over the middle. Get a lot of it back, but not the first down gained all the way up near midfield. An impressive catch by Aiden Coleman. Louisville now can make a decision here.
And they got back 22 or 23 of those yards. You might have a play for 4th and 8.
And Poplarville not burning their last time out here.
And, you know, if nothing else, if Poplarville's not going to call a timeout, you might as well stay out there and at least try a hard count, even if you're not going to go for it.
And they get 5 yards extra there. So now 4th and 8 becomes 4th and 3.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's all that was. I don't think there was any intention of running a play.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense, number 99, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So we've gone from 3rd and 31 to 4th and 8. Now we're at 4th and 3. This is doable now.
Nathan Brown, the offending party there. 4th and 3. And they're now on the plus side of the field. Trying for that hard snap count again was Xavier Hunt. No movement. Play clock has just gotten rolling, so they're going to let both the play and game clock run, and Louisville now will burn a timeout.
Timeout, Louisville.
And I think that's a good timeout by the coaching staff. Get over here, get on the same page, make a good decision, because this is a big play. This is a chance to double up now if you can convert this. Still a minute, 15 seconds remaining until the half. Plenty of time to score a touchdown, but you've got to get this 3 yards to keep the chains moving before you can make a touchdown happen. So take a timeout, regroup your guys, and make sure everybody is on the same page.
Both of these teams are on a win streak of some sort. Poplarville just 4 straight. Meanwhile, Louisville has won 9 in a row as they went 13-1, of course, all the way this season. Poplarville overall at 12-2. The numbers are incredible when you look back just a few years. This senior class has a chance to do something pretty special. Go 43-2.
Wow, that's
over
impressive.
3 years.
That is impressive. In a competitive division.
Over the last 5 years, the Wildcats have been 65-6 with 3 titles. And then if you go throw it back 7 years, 91-10 with 4 state titles.
Yeah, those are some gaudy numbers, just gaudy numbers.
But 91-10, only 4 state titles in those 7 years, which is crazy. 4th down, and a slant caught for a first down. Wildcat timeout works out to perfection. Down to the 35 goes Cameron Triplett. First down, Wildcats.
How things have changed. 3rd and 31, and look where we are now.
On the plus side of the field somehow.
Closing in on the red zone.
With just over a minute to play until halftime. Looking one way, going right back to Cameron Triplett, who steps out of bounds right around the red zone, maybe a yard inside. And the Wildcats, with under a minute to play, 2 timeouts remaining, are threatening to get that 2-for-1 opportunity.
Yeah, Louisville has really taken the momentum that was all in the favor of Poplarville at that 3rd and 31 point, and in just 3 or 4 plays has totally flipped the script on the Hornets.
Play number 7 of the current drive, and a great stop out of the backfield by Jernigan to free himself, and now they'll quickly run back to the line and try to go quick, but a timeout on the field by...
Timeout. Louisville.
So Louisville burns their second timeout out of 3.
Yeah, so Louisville's got 1 timeout left, plenty of time on the clock, 46 seconds left. If you're Louisville, are you careful? Do you go ahead and take a couple of shots at the end zone? Or are you going to try to run another play toward the sideline? What's your thoughts if you're Louisville right now?
Well, you've got 46 seconds. You can still go middle of the field here.
Because you've got the timeout to burn.
And you don't really have a field goal kicker, so you're
right.
going to be going for it. So even middle of the field, you get a first down, the clock stops, right, at the high school level. So the first down marker's at the 10. So if you get it to the 8 or 9 yard line, you're going to have the clock stop anyway. You still have 2 or 3 plays before you even have to worry about a timeout. If you go boundary, I mean, you've got a lot of options with 46 seconds left.
So the take-home is the whole playbook's open at this point for
Absolutely.
Louisville. You can do anything you want to do right here that you think is going to convert into points.
We talked about 2-for-1. You know, back in the old days, it make you take it, right? I mean, if I score, I get to go back and do it again.
That's right.
I don't know if that worked out in backyard football all that much, but certainly on basketball. Second down. Underneath, right through his hands and into the hands of the Hornets. Oh, what a turn of events for Poplarville and Louisville. Interception by Cole Henry. Right place, right time.
Yeah, the last drive, Louisville had the circus catch that was made. That time, same throw just behind the receiver, off his hands. Poplarville defender in the right place at the right time. And what a change for Poplarville.
Haynes is like, all you had to do was lead me, and I'm walking into the end zone right there.
He was wide open, without a doubt.
Louisville will get the ball to start the second half. Poplarville going to see if they can, get a big run here. That's all they're looking at with all 11 men stacked inside the box, and why not give it to old number 5, who picks up about 2 or 3 yards on first down for Keys.
And now the play clock and the game clock are pretty much in sync, so Poplarville does not have to run another play in this first half.
And Louisville certainly is not going to take their final timeout just to stop it there.
And I think that will do it, I believe, for the first half of play.
15 seconds and rolling. Neither team showing, or Poplarville not showing any sign of getting up to the football. And Coach Beach will go talk to his squad. Coach Shorter will go talk to his squad. But first he's going to catch up with our own man on the field, Mr. Lance LaFane, here in just a few moments. So don't go anywhere. We'll have that conversation coming up here in just a second. But this game certainly has had ebbs and flows. It started off with a Poplarville touchdown, and it ended with 2 big Louisville touchdowns and almost a third one. But a big defensive play prevented that last score.
Yeah, huge play. Huge play by Poplarville there at the end of that second half, or second quarter.
All right, let's go down to Lance.
Coach, your offense comes back, scores 15 unanswered. Defense is doing what it's done all year. What some of the changes you're going to have to make in the second half?
We just got to get better. Special team killing us. I mean, we got hurt right there for special teams, and we got to do a better job of getting off the field. Our defense, they trying to control the clock, but we just got to settle down. I think our guys just came out, we just overhyped, and we just got to settle down. They got a good football team, but we hurting ourselves. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot right here, getting the interception. We just keep hurting ourselves, and we just got to settle down and come back and play a better second half.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Coach Shorter. We appreciate that. It's 15-14 at the half in the 4A Football State Championship right here on the NFHS Network.
Going to be a hot one out there for move-in weekend, Ole Miss. Good luck this year, Red.
You did it. You're home. I can't wait for you to discover the true meaning of Hotty Toddy. It's a cheer that connects us all to the red and blue. It's the moment that begins when you step on campus and continues long after you turn your tassel. I can't wait for you to discover your legacy and make the world a better place. Are you ready?
So why was it so important for you to teach me hunting safety at such a young age?
Well, first of all, I love you, and I want you to come back home just like you left the door when you came out. And secondly, I want us to have a good time and remember those good times.
Stay safe. Download our Hunter Safety Card at mdrs.ms.gov.
We're back in Hattiesburg where Louisville leads this game 15-14 at the break in the 4A championship. It's the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi MHSA Football Championships presented by our good friends at Bank Plus. We're here in the booth. I'm Brian Eubank, joined by Cliff Barker, and big thanks again to Lance LaFan for all his work on the sideline this evening. And first half didn't disappoint with these two squads looking, again, 13th potential title for Louisville, first ever for Poplarville.
A lot of ebbs and flows, a lot of big plays just as we expected, some good defense being played, but also some defensive breakdowns. And as Coach said, headed to the locker room, some special teams mistakes. A lot of things went good. A lot of things didn't go so good for both teams, but a one-point game at halftime, kind of what we expected, I believe.
Why are mistakes so much more magnified in a championship ball game?
Well, I think there's a lot more nerves. You try to treat it like a normal game, but you know in your mind it's not a normal game. So anytime you pressure yourself more than normal and you put that extra stress on yourself, it's easier to make a mistake. So I think every level of success, it becomes harder and harder to be perfect in your football game, and I think sometimes the pursuit of perfection ends up making you have some failures.
Let's sit back for just a few moments and allow you to enjoy the marching band from Louisville High School here on the NFHS Network. thanks again to Louisville for making the trip and entertaining the fans here. We'll come back with more of our continuing halftime coverage live here in Hattiesburg on the NFHS Network.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Back at some awesome Christmas images of the city of Hattiesburg. What a pleasure it has been to be here this weekend. Thank you to the entire city for their hospitality and the University of Southern Mississippi as well. All of the staff members that make it possible, from the statisticians up here to the PA announcer to the clock operator. I mean, everybody that has made this thing possible. We appreciate each and every one of you for allowing us onto your campus this weekend, making parking very easy, making just our lives very easy.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking back at the first half, and I just can't get over the fact that you had a 96-yard run, an 83-yard kickoff return, but I believe the biggest play in the first half was the interception ending the second quarter of play. It just jumps out to me as that may be a game-changing moment. But, yeah, I credit the camera crew. I'm going to go back to what you started out with, what you opened with. Some beautiful sights around Hattiesburg, lots of things to do here, beautiful sights downtown, city parks. They've showcased that all weekend. Hattiesburg's a nice tourism destination.
No doubt. So make some plans to come down here if you get a chance during the Christmas break, perhaps. All right, I know our guys are ready to roll some of that footage from the first half. Let's take a look.
Yeah, some big passes. There's a big completion for Louisville that resulted in a touchdown. That was the big touchdown run. A little bit of a duck, but a beautiful pass reception in the end zone. And now Keys with a big play. And now Louisville takes it around the end again. Deflection, interception, touchdown return, Keys.
I mean, that's all kinds of, that's as we call that, a jambalaya maybe, or a potpourri of highlights, whatever you want to call it, a hodgepodge. I don't know.
So much good stuff, I couldn't keep up with it.
It was so much good stuff, right? And it's only 15-14. That's the crazy part. Now, if you're Poplarville and Coach Beach, what are you saying to your guys right now?
You're saying keep that momentum from that last play. I know it doesn't seem like much, but when you made that last big defensive play, that's kind of a precipitation of change in the second half. You've done great things in the first half, but you got to come out here and take care of business. Now, if you're Louisville, you've got to let your guys know we're a championship-winning club. We can clean up a few mistakes, and there's a possibility we could have a multi-score lead heading into halftime. So Louisville, there's a lot of positives to take away as well, but both ball clubs playing good football, a one-point game at halftime, clean up the mistakes, and you never know what's going to happen in the second half. This could go either way.
We're going to come back and continue our coverage live here in Hattiesburg, and that'll be all right here next on the NFHS Network.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Wow. How can I start this? Young and dumb. Listening to the streets. Thinking that people of my age knew more than the adults that have been through what I went through. Because of the My Best program, I have been able to have more motivation within myself because of the help that I get from others, from what they see in me that I did not see in myself. Having the administrators and the instructors to be there when you need them there. Their willingness to help you with whatever you need help with. You know, there is no barriers, you know. No matter how you come in, if you follow the right direction and you allow them to lead you, you will leave out a whole nother person.
Back in Hattiesburg at the Rock M.M. Roberts Stadium and Carlisle Faulkner Field. I'm Brian Eubank, joined by Cliff Barker. And boy, what an entertaining first half we've had. What an entertaining weekend. Outside of this morning's first game, which turned into a blowout in the second half, it was competitive until the fourth quarter, really. It's been a lot of good football.
Yeah, and the fans have showed up. There's been, you know, you're never going to fill up a college stadium, but as you can see behind us, a good crowd out there for both of these ball games today. We're expecting a huge crowd for the next game as Hattiesburg plays in the championship. But a great atmosphere here at the Rock at M.M. Roberts Stadium, and it's been a great weekend of football. Tight games played all weekend. No game has been won by any more than 12 points. If you're looking for some good football, this is a good place to land this weekend.
And then tonight they're saying they're going to be hanging from the rafters because there are going to be so many Hattiesburgians. Whatever.
Hattiesburgians?
Hattiesburgers. Let's not go there. No. Anyway, people from Hattiesburg. There'll be a lot of folks here enjoying that game. They'll be on the visiting side, so you'll get a really good look at them on the other side of the field as far as how many people come to that game tonight. Well, they say stats don't lie in a ball game, but if you look at these numbers, is it telling the true story of this game so far?
Yeah, you know, there's a big difference in total yards, 224 to 113, but you got to consider Poplarville had that big special teams touchdown, which really changed the flow of the game. But, yeah, Louisville stat-wise is dominating. Scoreboard-wise, they're not. Even funnier stat to look at, Louisville with a lower time of possession, 224 yards, only 10:48 time of possession. Poplarville, 113 yards, 13 minutes possession, but now we'll flip that coin once again. Part of that is Louisville had a 96-yard touchdown run on a one-play drive, so that affects that time of possession. But it's been a very interesting first half. Can't say balanced by the two teams on the stat sheet, but all that matters is that it's pretty balanced on the scoreboard, 15 to 14.
83 yards, though, on the total yard side for that kickoff return. Then you're a little closer to even.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
You know, that does kind of tell the story. Anyway, it's just one guy sees it one way, another guy sees it another. One thing for sure is we do see equally, second half is coming up in just a little while here on the NFHS Network.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
What happens when you believe? When you believe that you can make a difference, that you can do more, be more, create, explore, that you can find yourself, Find your place. Change a life. Change the world. That's the power of belief. That's the power of Mississippi State University.
Welcome back to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, here on the NFHS Network. It is halftime still, Louisville 15 and Poplarville 14 at the break. And in just a few moments, we're going to hear, at some point, we'll hear back from Lance. He's going to catch up with Coach Beach and kind of get his take on what he said to his crew in the locker room at halftime. Has there been a moment this weekend that has really stood out to you as far as all of these? Because you've been here for all the games. I've been here for all the games. Is there one moment that stood out to you?
Well, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. You put me on the spot there, but there's been a lot of big moments. I'll just say that. Every game has had its moments as it's gone along. Now, the last game, I'll just jump right back to the last game we just called. You had a team win their first ever state championship. That was pretty cool. You know, that's a moment that you like to see, especially when you're going against a team that had been dominating going into that. So that was pretty cool to see. But, no, there's been moment after moment in every game where young men have made individual efforts and team efforts that have been game-changing, and there's just been great football all weekend.
Well, that's the same moment that Poplarville is hoping repeats itself here in the second half. We'll have that second half for you coming up next here, live from Hattiesburg and M.M. Roberts Stadium, all on the NFHS Network and the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic MHSA Football Championships presented by Bank Plus.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
We're back in Hattiesburg. Before we start the second half, let's check back in with Lance, who's got Coach Beach.
Coach, just down by 1 at half. You gave up the big run, your defense did, but then had a big turnover there at the end of the half. You know, besides that big run, your defense has played well. You get a touchdown on special teams. What was your message to your guys at halftime?
Well, we're right there in the game. We got to play hard the second half. If one team makes a couple big mistakes right here, that could be it for them. Hopefully, we're the one that doesn't make those mistakes.
All right, Coach. Good luck second half.
Thank you, Coach Beach. Thank you, Lance. We appreciate the hard work from Lance LaFan down on the field here today during our broadcast. And again, huge thanks to the entire crew and all the folks here at Southern Miss. Halftime, it's 15-14, getting ready for the second half kickoff. Tyrone Shorter, you heard his message going into the locker room. And the other part we don't really talk a whole lot about for these two teams, a lot longer halftime than they're used to, 20, 23, 24 minutes. It's a little longer to wait and anticipate that second half.
Yeah, and you know, does it have an effect on your stretching routine coming back out? Do you tighten up a little bit while you're in the locker room? You know, just a few minutes can make a difference with that inactivity in the locker room. So, you know, I'm not saying that makes a huge difference, but anything that changes routine for kids can change the outcome of a football game. But the only thing about it is both teams have to face the same circumstances.
No doubt about it. So it is going to be 12 minutes up on the clock. And they're at the half, by the way, in Atlanta, 6-3, a battle of field goals. Is it LSU-Bama from a few years ago? 6-3 in that SEC title game between Texas and Georgia. Longhorns with the lead, and Carson Beck has been knocked out of the game and ruled that he won't return to the second half for you Georgia fans.
Yeah, we'll see how that affects Georgia. You know, a lot of people complain about Carson Beck. He's not always the most popular guy, but we'll see how those Georgia fans feel without him.
Grenada Hattiesburg is coming up tonight. We won't give you a kickoff time because, well, we can't until this one is over. It'll be about an hour after this game is over, and our good friend Jake Wimberly will carry you through on the side set. Coming up in a little bit, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. Jay Beach's Poplarville Hornets ready to go for the second half. The high end-over-end kick will be taken about the 20-yard line by Haynes. Haynes looking for a big return, gets it across the 40-yard line, and he is wrestled down at about the 42.
Haynes with the return.
In the second quarter alone, that's when the Wildcat rushing attack really got rolling.
Yeah, without a doubt, Louisville has got some guys that can really get it done on the ground, and we're looking right there at Haynes. Haynes is kind of a do-it-all guy. He can do it inside, do it on the outside as well. He's been a guy that Louisville can count on all season.
We'll see if he has something else to offer here. Remember, he got knocked out for a little bit because of
somebody fell on his head.
Yeah, an inadvertent knee to the head. Had to sit out for a few plays, maybe a series or so. Jernigan gets the first handoff, trying to follow his main guy leading the block in Dante Cross, but could not get to the edge, and maybe a yard gain.
Yeah, just a great job by that Poplarville defense of stretching laterally and pushing the play to the sideline and not allowing Louisville to seal that corner and get turned on the corner.
I'm Brian Eubank, joined by Cliff Barker, and again on the field, Lance LaFan. We're so glad you're with us here on the NFHS Network. It is the penultimate championship of the weekend.
And then tonight's going to be a big one. It's I got a feeling as we exit the booth on this game, there's going to be a wave of folks from Hattiesburg filling this stadium up tonight.
Just glad we're the ones going out and not trying to get in.
That is correct.
Corbin Sanders carries forward for about 4 yards, and that will set up a manageable third down for the Wildcats.
A lot of weapons back there, as we've said multiple times throughout the game for Louisville. A lot of different guys they can give the ball at any given time. Now, a little bad news for the Wildcats. Corbin comes off a little slow, headed off to the sidelines.
It's only his third carry of the night, as he's got 8 yards on the ground now. Jernigan, of course, leading all ball carriers. 7 carries, 122, 96 of them on that one carry. He'll accept the little screen pass out in the flats and make a lot out of very little. Inside the 25-yard line, first down, Wildcats.
And that pass, just an extended handoff basically, but it works the same way as a sweep, just allows the ball carrier to get outside even more quickly. And now we've got a big guy coming in, it looks like, for some blocking, maybe a heavy package for Louisville.
Parker Pearson with a near touchdown saving tackle inside the 25. Wildcats have had some different looking drives, a burst of one play and then a 13-play scoring drive. So they can do it in either fashion. hoping they get another drive to start this quarter here. Jernigan to the right side. And the Hornets, or excuse me, the Hornets bottle them up there.
Yeah, 3 yards on that carry. That extra blocker that came in was a big defensive lineman, Mitchell Turner, 6'1", 260, in what would have really been a tight end position on that right side, but it's actually a second tackle, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. A big body down there to block.
No doubt. Zayden Jernigan. Another carry to the 20. Still in the red zone, about the same spot where that last play initiated from, maybe gained a half yard. Brings up 3rd down and about 6 or 7.
Yeah, nothing doing as Poplarville attempts to stiffen up down here inside the red zone and keep Louisville
No gain on the play.
1 point lead.
3rd down and 6.
Wildcats 4 out of 6 on 3rd down conversions tonight.
And of course, 4 down territory for the Wildcats, without a doubt. They've got 2 plays to get this 1st down or to get into the end zone.
They're 1 for 1 on this drive after going 3 out of 5 of the first half. Firing towards the end zone. Pass broken up. All kinds of contact down by the goal line. Cameron Triplett could not bring it in as Jason Smith came over to knock it free.
And that one was just floated just a little bit. I think he needed a little bit more of a bullet, and you may have a shot right there, but kind of floated it and gave the 2 defenders time to get there ahead of the ball.
Definitely got it out in front of Jamison, but boy, the closing speed of Smith there provided the big blow. And now 4th down territory, and Louisville knew they were going for it anyway on 4th down here.
That's right, and that's why you take the chance there. You know you're going to keep your offense out on the next play.
Louisville 1 for 1 on 4th downs so far. Can they make it 2 for 2? Rolling, firing, and another interception inside the 10-yard line. Poplarville football. Jason Smith, a pass breakup a moment ago, and now a big interception inside the red zone.
And the second interception for Hunt, and the common error on both of those interceptions is the ball thrown behind the receiver, late with the pass and resulting in interceptions.
Beautifully done. Gets the ball also out to about the 15, so a little bit of breathing room instead of the last time that interception came at the 4-yard line.
That's right. That's a great play by Jason Smith of understanding where he needed to be and sniffing out that pass.
Twice now, Louisville has been unable to cash in inside the red zone. You heard Coach Beach say maybe they would be the team that wouldn't make the big mistake. So far, they aren't. They caused a big mistake to start the second half and start off this possession with about a 3-yard plunge up the middle by Ty Keys.
And Brian, I continue to be impressed with Keys. And one of the things that impresses me most is not only the big play ability he has, but it's the ability he has to take what looks like a 1-yard run and turn it into a 3 to 4 yard run. You know, that's something that really matters in a football game. The little things can make a big difference, and those extra 2 or 3 yards, maybe on a 1st or 2nd down carry, can be the key to a 1st down conversion later on in that drive.
Keys will get it again. This time he's only able to get about a yard or 2. A big-time collision in the backfield. Trayvon McDonald with a stop.
Tyler Keys with a carry.
Louisville aggressive on defense, trying to get the ball back in the hands of their offense as quickly as possible.
3rd down and 6.
Poplarville now looking at 3rd and 6. Their 3rd down conversion rate so far, only 1 out of 3. They're 2 for 2 on 4th downs, but they weren't in their own territory.
Time of possession is really evened up between the two teams.
Now a direct snap to Keys. He'll fake the handoff, keep it himself, and there are nothing but black jerseys there. About a 4 or 5 collection of Wildcats to take him down right at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, nothing doing for Poplarville on that drive, and now a punting situation. And, you know, I don't want to wish any ill will on anybody's special team, but a punt is always tough when you're in the shadow of your own goalpost. Now, fortunately for Poplarville, the punter is standing in the field of play, not in the end zone. We already saw in a game earlier a punt snapped over a punter's head, resulting in a safety.
Jeremiah Moss stands at his own 5. Zarian Haynes stands way back at his own 45, anticipating the upcoming Hornet punt. This one's a little end over endish and takes a Hornet bounce back inside the hash marks at about the 46. That's where Louisville will start when we come back here live in Hattiesburg on the NFHS Network.
He's got it. William Carey is back to the NAIA World Series. They win it 11-4. William Carey finishes the regular season 15-3, winning it here at home 78-70. The Crusaders are conference champions.
We're very passionate in the way that we do things, in the way that we pride ourselves in carrying this university's name.
There's no other feeling like it in the world.
My sisters in my sorority, my friends on campus, the staff, faculty, all those people have really pushed me to kind of become the person I am today.
And I think Southern Miss does a great job of building habits for life after college.
There was something special that brought us here. There's nothing stopping you from doing what you want. Southern Miss can get you there.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expanded the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
The Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic is brought to you by My Best. Move further and faster to a better career and future. Visit skillupmississippi.com. Mississippi State University, taking care of what matters. And by William Carey University, making college affordable. Visit www.wmcarey.edu.
Xavier Hunt's looked pretty good other than the 2 picks. 10 out of 15, take away those 2 interceptions inside the red zone, and that young man's having himself a career-type night in the first half plus the first half of the third quarter. Needs to make some better decisions now as they've got the football back and hoping they can finally cash in on a score. That's a good way to get it started with a big carry by Jernigan into Poplarville territory. First down, Wildcats.
And I was just about to credit that front line for Louisville with really getting some movement in that Poplarville defensive front, but then a penalty flag falls and looks like holding. First time tonight we've seen a gaping hole. You know, there's been some good runs for Louisville, but that was a huge hole. Maybe it was to do with a little
holding on the offense, number 74. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Oh, that perfect timing. Wow. All right. By the way, Jernigan did cross the 1,500-yard threshold in the last drive. He's now at 1,512 yards on the season. An impressive year for that young man, with now 22 touchdowns to go along with those 1,500 yards. He fights through the lane here and gets about half the holding yardage back.
Jernigan with a carry.
2nd and 15.
Tackled by number 9, Lennox Beach.
And that number 8 and number 9 still tough to determine on those 2 jerseys. But
I've got it now.
Wow.
I found some distinguishing characteristics.
Well,
so
good.
that was definitely throwing me earlier. Number 1, most running backs have those long white tape mark things underneath their arms, and so that's the one easy tell. Haynes will fire deep, and it stays up in the air for what seemed like an eternity before Cameron Triplett hauled it in for a big first down play.
And what a great job by Triplett of turning his body and high pointing that ball. He had to kind of go over the defender. I mean, look at that. Just a great job. And then it didn't really land on his feet, but got a shin and a knee down inbounds to complete the catch.
And a great job in the pocket by Xavier Hunt. He was absorbing that hit, that contact, still able to get enough on the football to get it down there. Hunt now 11 of 16 for 168 yards after that 18-yard completion, or excuse me, that 33-yard completion. Back to the ground and Jernigan fights off a one tackle, 10, 5, touchdown, Wildcats. Jernigan's in the end zone for the second time tonight, and the Wildcats are now up 21-14.
And Jernigan would not be denied. A couple of the Poplarville Hornets defenders got hands on him. He just wouldn't have any of it. Just swiped him away, pushed it to the outside, and used his speed to take it into the end zone.
Take away those 2 interceptions or put them, back on potential scores. This would be a rout right now.
It could be, potentially.
Right now it's a touchdown game. Might be an 8-point contest, and it is, as the Wildcats make it 22-14 with 5:01 to play. A quick 3-play drive, eating up 54 yards in a minute 23 off the clock. Jernigan finds pay dirt for the second time tonight. Scored from 96 earlier, this time from 26.
Big numbers, 11 rushes, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of those rushes was a 96-yarder. This young man gets it done, averaging 14.3 yards a carry during this state championship contest.
Seems good.
I think it's pretty good.
Oftentimes you look at big plays as we get a good look at the scoring summary on those 3 plays. You've got Poplarville with 4 big plays, which is consists of a 15-yard run or a 10-yard or more, or excuse me, a 15-yard reception or a 10-plus yard run. On the flip side, Louisville has 9 big plays.
Wow.
So 9-4 in that category, and you're seeing why right now you've got an 8-point lead.
Yeah, that can definitely make the difference in a ball game. Wholesale change on the kickoff team. They flip the coverage unit from one side to the other, and I don't know right now. And look, now Poplarville responds by moving Keys to the other side of the return formation.
He stands at the top. They'll go instead with a squib kick, and Poplarville will fall on it at the 42, trying to secure is the best field position they can get there.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call. You do not want to put the ball in the hands of Keys if you're Louisville. You just got this 1-score lead, ahead by 8 points. The last thing you want to do is get another sudden change and give Keys an opportunity for another big kickoff return.
He had an 83-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the first half. You're just now tuning in. An electric return, to say the least. Now he'll be in the backfield to see if he can get something else going on the offensive front for this Hornet squad. Keys 14 carries, 62 yards to this point. In the backfield, though, this time was Miller. He picks up a yard.
Yeah.
How has Poplarville done on the ground attack today?
They've done pretty good. They've been able to take a couple of different guys. Keys has been one of those guys. Another one of those guys has been Miller. But Keys 14 carries for 62 yards. It's been a decent day, but probably not what Poplarville was expecting coming into this game.
Blackman to pass, and he misfires. An interception by the Wildcat defense. Both QBs struggling with the passing department as Macon hauls in a big-time interception.
Yeah, and another pass delivered well behind a receiver and just taken advantage of by a defensive back. Both these teams are being stingy on defense with the takeaways.
Macon, his second pick of the game. Wow. 49-yard line, and Louisville sets up shop again, almost in plus territory.
So both quarterbacks now with 2 picks on the night.
And this is where Louisville is going to try to flex their veteran muscle when it comes to championships and try to put this game away early.
That's correct. Try to get that 2-score lead.
4:20 to play. Big time hole opens up to the right side for Sanders, and then he's moved way back, but the forward progress gave him about the 43 or so yard line of Poplarville.
Yeah, and you know, Louisville is that reigning champion, and they are that team, and actually back-to-back champion. But Louisville is that team that's been here. But you got to also remember, Poplarville has been here recently as well. They hadn't got the victory, but they've been in this situation. can Poplarville figure out how to get over that hump and come up with a big stop?
Yeah, sadly, this senior group hadn't been in it. 2020, the last time they were in the game, 2019, 18, and also 16. Those 4 trips, they do know about getting to the game as Jernigan signals a first down for the Wildcats. It says, hey, West Point, we're coming. Trying to go 13 for 13 in the modern era.
They're getting pumped up down on the field for Louisville. The linemen leading.
Jernigan. Toss back to him, gets stood up. Mercy, the Hornets.
Nathan Brown, 5'9", 249-pound junior, took out the quarterback and the running back in the backfield at the same time. Oh, that's impressive.
Ran into his own quarterback, yeah. Because of old 99.
I was going to say, I feel like 99 carried the quarterback into the running back.
13 carries, 163 yards now after that 4-yard loss to Jernigan. Still an incredible night for him. Now quick screen pass to him. Jernigan trying to do everything here for this team and will their way into another state championship and trying to go for the three-peat.
Ian McGee had a chance out there to make a tackle right at the line of scrimmage, hit him down in the ankles, but was unable to bring Jernigan down, but slowed him down enough to let some of his teammates get there and clean things up.
3rd down, 8 yards to go.
The fact they've won 12, they've never won 3 in a row. When you're talking about Louisville and that ball is bobbled, falling on top of it, Xavier Hunt to preserve, not distance, but at least preserve possession.
And a big opportunity now here for Poplarville with what looks to be a stop. Now, Coach Shorter in this situation with 4th and very long, just inside the 40.
I'd pooch it here.
Yeah, I feel like I would quick kick her. And now there's a penalty being thrown well after the play. And if that penalty goes the way of Louisville, which it looks like it will, that's going to make it 4th down and 1.
He's pointing the way of Poplarville.
And well, Poplarville's response was it appears to be against them.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. 34, Poplarville, unsportsmanlike conduct. 14, Louisville. They's offset, 4th down.
Well, that's good news that it offset. It didn't really cost either team one way or the other because they always feel like it's always the second guy that gets hit with the penalty. That's what I thought we might be seeing there, but they got them both that time.
Yeah, the initial response from the players from Poplarville really looked like the penalty was going against them. Louisville was celebrating, and you could just see the shock on the Louisville side when offsetting penalties got called. But, fortunately for the Hornets, that is what happened.
Josh Ammons will punt it, and sprinting back to his 5-yard line is Zach Case. Still waiting for the officials to write the numbers and names down of the offending parties. You only get 2 of those in a game before you're asked to exit the surface.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about it. Even if it's offsetting penalties and it doesn't change anything with the spot of the ball, it could have big potential consequences later in the ball game.
Yeah, if you were to get a second disqualification. Kind of like 2 technical fouls in basketball, if you're familiar.
I like the rule. I like
do too. It encourages trying to have good sportsmanship out there. Nearly blocked, but somehow Ammons got it off. It'll angle toward the right sideline, and Louisville will stop it at the 18. Not a long punt, about 22 yards, but still it's inside the red zone. And the way Louisville's been playing defense, Cliff, it's tough. It's going to be tough sledding here for Poplarville.
It is, but Poplarville's got an opportunity here. Poplarville was in a dire situation. Louisville was driving down the field in plus territory. Poplarville was able to take advantage of a couple of breaks, get this ball back, even though it's not the most favorable field position. It is almost at the 20-yard line. If you're Poplarville, you've got to find a way to put together a positive offensive drive at this point of the game. Still a one-score game.
A beautiful day has turned into a beautiful night here in Hattiesburg. A little chill in the air, but nothing like last 2 nights that we've had here in Hattiesburg. The Hub City has been chilly.
I was looking at my app, my WeatherBug app, just a minute ago, and it shows by the end of this game, and I'll say it's only going to be about 45 degrees. Where last night
we never saw 45 at all.
No,
the entire day yesterday.
It was cold last night.
Josh West, Clay Sweet will be on the call for that one tonight. Quick keeper by Tylen Keys. Keys is across the 30 to the 35-yard line. First down, Hornets.
And just the start Poplarville was looking for. A big play from Ty Keys, almost 15 yards on the first play from scrimmage on this drive. Poplarville's got to keep that momentum going.
Walt Graham providing the lead block that time as running back. It's been so often Aiden Graham, but this time Walt decides to get in on the action. Blackman will keep it. Doesn't run it much.
Ooh.
And this one is stood up for a loss in the play.
He didn't run it much on that play. In fact, he went backwards on that play.
Jason Blackman with the carry.
Keys returns to the game now.
Tackle made by Trayvon McDonald.
Louisville cheerleaders getting excited about potentially getting a chance to celebrate a state title again. They know how to work the camera.
Loss of a yard of the play. It's second down.
It's a great setting and a great opportunity for all these kids to play on a big stage like this on statewide TV in a state championship. It's not just about the players, it's about everybody involved.
Those spirit groups play a large role throughout this. So does the band. I mean, it's a lot of folks. Ty Keys has played a big role in this game already as he gets this ball near midfield, about 5 or 6 yards shy of that mark. Nonetheless, it's still enough for a first down for the Hornets.
Keys is going to have a big fourth quarter if Poplarville wants a chance to take home this state championship. You can see right now the key to the Poplarville Hornet offense is Tylen Keys.
Got an injured player on the field for Louisville with only 10 seconds left in the third quarter, and you have to feel like Poplarville feels like they shouldn't be in this ball game right now mentally, probably because they've been able to turn them over twice inside the red zone. But then that also must give them a huge moment of thought of realization, hey, we're only down 8, even though it feels like we're way behind in this game.
Well, there's been missed opportunities for Louisville. As you said, Louisville is a couple of plays away from really stretching this game out to a multiple score lead. Poplarville's caught some good breaks that have let them stay in the game, and now you've got an opportunity to really turn this thing around. A touchdown and the 2-point conversion, you've got a tie game in the fourth quarter. So things are looking up for Poplarville when for most of the third quarter, everything looked like it was going the way of the Wildcats.
Rags will come off with a little bit of assistance. The one thing we haven't seen a ton tonight or this week maybe once or twice. I know we saw it once last night. Because of the cold temperatures, you don't see many of them, and that's cramps. But you do still see them sometimes because when it does get so cold, kids forget to hydrate, and they still can get cramps.
Well, that's correct. And not only that, but you've got to understand that part of the key of hydration is hydrating well beforehand. You can't just hydrate the day of the game. You've got to get things going heading up and kind of almost work on a schedule working into the game week, and oftentimes that gets missed.
3 quarters in the books. Louisville 12 minutes away from potentially a 13th state title. Poplarville has the ball, looking for their first when we return here on the NFHS Network.
Left center field, Hendon waits for it. He's got it. William Carey is back to the NAIA World Series. They win it 11-4. William Carey finishes the regular season 15-3, winning it here at home 78-70. The Crusaders are conference champions.
We're very passionate in the way that we do things, in the way that we pride ourselves in carrying this university's name.
There's no other feeling like it in the world.
My sisters in my sorority, my friends on campus, the staff, faculty, all those people have really pushed me to kind of become the person I am today.
And I think Southern Miss does a great job of building habits for life after college.
There was something special that brought us here. There's nothing stopping you from doing what you want. Southern Miss can get you there.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask, because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Back in Hattiesburg before we start the final frame. Let's check back in with Lance.
Hey guys, I'm here with Mark Osborne, Director of Athletic Training for Elite Physical Therapy. Mark, just tell us about your relationship and you guys' relationship with MHSAA and what you guys are representing here this weekend.
Sure. We're the official athletic training and physical therapy providers for the MHSAA, and we also partner with Mississippi Sports Medicine Orthopedic Center in the Jackson market. And we're just so excited to have this opportunity to serve the kids of Mississippi and provide them with top-notch sports medicine care. This is a wonderful opportunity to give back to the community, so we're all over it.
We appreciate you guys and all you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lance.
Dead ball foul. Sideline warning, Poplarville. It's their first warning.
Since the first quarter, Poplarville had a 101-97 total yard advantage. Since that moment, 237-44.
Yeah, not only did Louisville hold serve in the third quarter, they actually widened that lead and they gained yardage on the game just a little bit.
But they're only down 8.
That's right. That's right. And Poplarville with the ball almost at midfield.
That's where stats don't tell the story. We're leaving out, of course, a big stat and the turnovers. One stat that's not being left out is this young man's night. Here comes a flag that might bring the entire run of Ty Keys back as he takes this one to the house. An impressive touchdown run that I'm not sure is going to stand of 55 yards.
Yeah, that's tough for Poplarville because that was a great effort by Keys, and I do think it will come back.
That would have put him over 100-plus yards, would have put him at about 145 on the night. Instead, the hold or the infraction occurred. The flag's at the 42, so they should get the ball at about the 48. And it'll be first down in about, 8?
I don't know. The chain crew had already taken off down the
They
field.
did.
I'm not sure exactly where the chains were. I know the clip hasn't been
The good news
moved,
is that
so.
the other, there's also a set on the other
That's right.
side that shows where the down was.
Blocking in the black. Number 15, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
We see Keys and his reaction. Here we go.
The block in the back's a much worse penalty than holding because it goes from the previous spot.
No, it was actually from the spot of the foul. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, back to the 48.
Oh,
so
my mistake.
Be first down at about 7. Boy, you saw Keys' frustration after that. He'll sit out a play, perhaps have a chance to come back in on the next play after getting a quick breather and a quick gulp of water. So the Hornets sting themselves in the foot a little bit here, but first and 7. And a timeout on the field by Poplarville.
Yeah, I don't think Poplarville had the right personnel on the field. It didn't appear.
Which means Keys may come right back in.
That's true.
Anyway, on first and 7.
Well, it was something. Keys wasn't in, and Blackman wasn't in as well. You almost feel like one of those two guys had to be in there.
It would be nice, right? I mean, you got your quarterback and the guy that also, if Blackman's not in, then Keys is going to usually get the handoff. Sometimes Miller, but Keys is, I guess, 80% of the time probably he's going to get it.
Keys is such an impressive-looking athlete. We're getting a close-up of him now, and it still just blows my mind that young man is a sophomore. Very mature sophomore.
Very much so.
Great
One more
athlete.
game to go in our coverage tonight, and that will be Grenada and Hattiesburg. It won't quite kick off at 7, but I bet you it kicks off prior to 8 p.m., which everybody will be happy about, especially with a 3-game slate today.
Yeah, this game moving along pretty well. We got a late start. I don't remember exactly
Yeah, it was
what kickoff time
about
was.
3:50, so we were about 20 minutes past our initial start time of 3:30. First and 7 now for Poplarville after the timeout. Keys remains on the sideline for this snap. It goes to Miller. Miller hit immediately, and of course Xavier Coleman, one of those in there to stop him before he picks up yardage to make it 2nd and 5.
And the ball will be spotted at midfield, almost touching the line. 2nd and 5, very manageable.
Nick Miller with the carry.
Wonder how many plays Keys will.
2nd down and 5.
Or is Keys back in there now? I believe Keys is back on the field.
Stands right on the beak of the logo. I do like the Hornet logo they have. It's really cool. Very
Sharp.
sleek.
I like their whole uniform.
It's a good combo. Inside handoff. Great job by Keys to run a little misdirection. And he knows right now if he doesn't give that off, he's probably still running.
He could walk in
Zach Case for the carry.
Very minimalist.
Tackled by Dontavius Lewis.
Poplarville.
Ball at the 41, so 3rd and very short here. 3rd and 1. See what happens here for the Hornets. They would love to convert another 3rd down. So far tonight, just 1 of 4. They've really struggled, and only 4 third down tries so far. He's gotten a little red on the old stinger there. There's a 1st down carry. Big time run inside the 40-yard line. 1st down, Hornets.
These carries were a 5-yard gain.
And, you know, not to minimize the effort of any other kids, but Keys just looks like a different kind of guy when he carries the ball. He just moves differently on the field. Very talented athlete. And once again, if he gets going, that's the difference between a win and a loss here for Poplarville.
So 1st and 10. Direct snap to Miller. Miller plows his way ahead for about 6 yards.
And a really tough 1st down run by Miller. Miller took it up in there in the middle of all those big guys and made it happen. A nice run.
Tackle made by number 29, Jakari Owens.
2nd and 4. Ball resting at the Louisville 31. This is, now, they didn't chase points early, but Poplarville more than likely going to probably have to go for 2 this next time.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll see that. And now Poplarville, if we look back to the very beginning of the game, the keys to the game were sustained drives and conversions, and you've seen that so far on this drive. Can Poplarville sustain this to get it all the way down into the end zone?
A fake handoff to Miller, and the keeper from Blackman. Sidney Blackman gets the ball inside the 30 to about the 29, 3rd and 2 upcoming for the Hornets.
Starting to feel a little tense.
A little bit.
A little pressure on Poplarville, of course, but pressure on Louisville as well defensively. But Poplarville with a real opportunity here if they can convert this 1st down to threaten to score against this stingy Louisville defense.
Remember Coach Shorter talked about pressure is a privilege. And that's what these guys have been playing with anytime they put on that Louisville uniform. 12 out of 12 in state titles in the modern era. And it is Keys very close to a 1st down. Going to make 4th down either very interesting or on the spot he might have gotten enough.
He is so close. The far side official looked like he gave him the spot. The near side, it's kind of iffy. I think he got it, yeah. You know, that's one advantage of a turf field. I know you see that at a lot of your schools often. When you have that turf field, you know those hash marks are accurate from the sideline out onto the field, and that's a good reference point, especially when you got a carry that was very close to the hash mark.
The 27-yard line for the Hornets now gained. This will be play number 10 of the Hornet current drive. Keys follows his blocker again, sheds a tackle. It's Ty Keys from 27 yards out. He finds the end zone again. Touchdown, Poplarville. This one's not coming back.
And now to jump ahead quickly, not only did they sustain the drive and get the touchdown, now the other half of that key was conversions, and that's referring to 2-point conversions. This is the most important 2-point conversion of the game for Poplarville because you know they're going for the tie here.
One really doesn't do you a lot of good at this point with 7:40 to go, and Louisville has the ability to chew up the clock too. So you got to chase these points right now if you're Poplarville. Keys is back there, waiting on the direct snap. He'll follow it to the right side. Spun, spins in, and he's got it. We're tied at 22 with 7:40 to play in the fourth.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very long ago that all the momentum was on the side of the Wildcats, and now this thing is squared back up. 7 minutes, 40 seconds left. What a ball game.
10 plays, 82 yards. Ty Keys scored not once but twice on the drive. The second one counts, and this thing is locked up at 22 apiece.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
The Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Mississippi Farm Bureau. Go with the home team. Bank Plus. It's more than a name, it's a promise. And by C Spire. Inspired by you.
Amidst the lights of M.M. Roberts Stadium, we welcome you back for the final 7 minutes and 40 seconds of what has been a dandy of a 4A MHSAA State Football Championship. It's the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi Gridiron Classic presented by Bank Plus. I'm Brian Eubank, joined by Cliff Parker here in the booth, and Lance LaFan down on the field providing us with field analysis and interviews as well. And Cliff, we asked for a great game, and we have gotten a dandy.
Yes, just over 7.5 minutes left. Poplarville took advantage of a couple of mistakes by Louisville, put another touchdown on the board, got the big 2-point conversion. They've squared this thing up now. This is anybody's game with 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Poplarville's not going to kick it towards any certain person, but more towards a spot, it appears. Chadwick Brown. And goes with the onside kick. Poplarville trying to steal possession, and they got the football. It's Poplarville football. What a gutsy call from Coach Beach. Hornets, extra possession.
Onside kick.
And that could not have been done better. That was almost like the Pat McAfee recovering his own onside kick. The ball was escorted for 10 yards. It appears nobody touched it. It looked for a moment like it was very close to being touched. Does not appear that it was touched. A well-executed onside kick by the Hornets, and now an opportunity to take the lead in this football game.
They discussed it, and the referee in the white hat just signaled Poplarville football at midfield.
I think it was, as I'll say it again, I'm repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. That was about as well executed of an onside kick at the high school level as I've ever seen.
Jay Beach pulling out all the stops in a tie game, 22-22. Rolling, doesn't touch anybody, and then bang, it does. It's across midfield already, and then it bounces back a yard, and pouncing on it for the Hornets was none other than Ian McGee. First snap since the onside kick, and Nick Miller gets across midfield for about a yard.
With the carry.
Let's check in with Lance again.
Guys, I'm down here on the Poplarville sideline, and it is electric. You know, we talked right before kickoff of the close games that Poplarville had been in the last 4 weeks, winning a couple by 1, last week by 3 in the 38-point victory margin Louisville has had the last 5 weeks. This is trending in Poplarville's favor, guys. Back to you.
No doubt. A great point, Lance. A close ball game. Poplarville used to, more attuned to a blowout is what Louisville's been doing to most teams this year. But they still have a defensive pressure inside, extra handoff, and once again, the extra handoff is sniffed out to Zach Case from Tylen Keys, and Louisville has forced Poplarville back negative yardage back to 3rd and 12.
And 5 or 6 guys for Louisville were in that offensive backfield, and they nearly took the handoff. There were so many back there.
So 3rd and 12 for the Hornets. Big moment here. Can they capitalize on the onside kick recovery? They certainly don't want to give it right back to them. A fake to Keys, looking to go to the air. A deep throw, and it is wide open for a big-time catch inside the 10-yard line. Now down to the 5-yard line. Inside the 3, 1st and goal coming up for the Hornets. What a catch by Jeremiah Moss.
Jeremiah Moss, a big target, 6'5", 204. Got good separation away from the defensive back, and just a great throw. Put some air under it, let the big guy go get it.
What was a gutsier call, that on 3rd and 12 or the onside kick?
You know, they're both right there at the same level. Now, I think the onside kick took a little better execution, but I give all the credit to the receiver there and the big man, Moss. He did what it took to get open and make it easy on his quarterback.
Keys looking for the end zone again, dances to the right side, tries to use that big lanky frame to stretch it across, gets down to the 1.
I think he's at the 1-inch line, it looks like. I think the nose of the ball is nearly going to be touching the goal line.
20th carry of the game for Keys. His helmet came off too, so he'll have to come back. He gives a big pump-up signal to the fan base. The Hornets, they are swarming here.
Ball's on about the 6-inch line, it looks like.
Down, goal to go from the 1.
Can they convert? Nick Miller. Direct snap to the left side. He dives forward. He is in for 6.
Touchdown.
Miller gets the touchdown. It's his 15th rushing touchdown of the season, and Poplarville has come all the way back and has taken the lead on Louisville.
Great drive by Poplarville. And you know what's ironic about this? I've talked all game that it was going to be a big play by Keys that broke this game open, and it turns out it's a pass completion by Blackman to a guy we haven't even talked about tonight.
Now the extra point tried to make it a 7-point cushion. It's up, and it is good. Poplarville, 15 unanswered fourth-quarter points, and they lead this one 29-22 with just over 5 minutes to go.
What a game. What a game.
A 5-play, 50-yard drive capped off by the run by Miller, 2:18 off the clock, but it was all because of the perfectly executed onside kick by Chadwick Brown. So here's how it started. The onside kick, he touched it. It was recovered, remember, by McGee. Then the long pass that was accepted by Moss. And then the run by Miller. 5 quick plays.
A second effort by Miller to get that ball across the goal line on the touchdown.
Phenomenal job by the Hornets. This was a moment where the Hornets could have easily, you know what? We've been here before, could have tucked tail. They didn't. They showed the passion that Coach Beach has been preaching to this team. And this was a team coming in that even Coach Beach said this year's expectations coming in were not very high for this squad. They have survived a lot of people, they have, I can't read my own writing, isn't that terrible? They have they've gotten better. Whatever. They've overcome expectations on a lot of people that didn't think they would get here this year.
Well, the take home right now is if Poplarville is able to hold on to this lead and get out of here with their first ever state championship, that onside kick will be the stuff of legends.
They surprised a lot of people. Surprising I couldn't read my own writing. All right, a pooch kick all the way down to the 20, and Louisville looking for a far side return. Going to get some positive yardage here. They've only got 62 yards or way to go. Taking a little page out of the Sean Payton playbook from the Super Bowl years ago. That was a second half kickoff, but nonetheless, that was a prime moment to pull that off. And boy, the Hornets shocked the world there.
Well, I just can't get over how so often you see an onside kick where it bounces off the other team. That was escorted just perfectly, the full 10 yards, and then nobody from Louisville was even there with an opportunity to fall on the ball. It was all Poplarville. I think it caught Louisville off guard, and they just couldn't respond quickly enough.
Maybe they would have been more prepared for an onside kick had they not converted the two-point conversion, knowing they were down 2. But since it was tied, like you said, caught them by surprise. A quick strike to the right sideline by Xavier Hunt, caught by Cameron Triplett, first down, Wildcats.
First down, we've got an injured Hornet down out on the field.
And what a game.
Yeah, this may be a cramp. You were talking about hydration earlier. This may be a cramp for the Hornets.
Yeah, he's bending his toe back, which usually is what that signifies. Now he goes with laying back. And look, folks, when you get one, it is really hard to overcome it and have it not creep back up on you.
That's correct, especially with all the exertion you've got going out on the football field like this. It can really be recurrent as a game goes along. And you mentioned the point earlier. You think about cramps being an early season thing when it's hot and humid, but they can be just as big an issue when it's cold and when you fail to continue to hydrate to keep your body fully hydrated.
So they'll walk off as Coach Beach looks on. We talked about his playoff record, 34-10 with 5 South State championships and 7 region titles and 10 years at the helm. Remember, his career began back at Hancock High School in 2005, where he was the defensive backs coach for Walt Esslinger. He later held coaching positions at Pearl River Central, just down the road from here, before being hired as the offensive coordinator at Poplarville by Chris Teal, a graduate of Pearl River as well, where he lettered in football and baseball. And now he's got his team just over 5 minutes away from the potential first ever state title. But Louisville saying, hey, this is not over yet. The Wildcats are charging, and when you got Jernigan running the football nearing 200 yards, you got something still in your backfield down to the 38.
And Louisville decided they won't be denied. If guys won't get out of the way or won't get blocked, Jernigan just lowers the shoulder and runs over him.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats. As Coach Beach looks on, the Wildcats go right back at it. He's trying to hang on here because what was a defensive struggle there for a little while has turned into an offensive explosion here in the second half.
Without a doubt. We talked about that going into halftime, that we kind of felt like you might see that happen in the second half. Not to the level that I thought it would, but especially here in the fourth quarter, both these teams have kicked it up a notch.
Jernigan certainly been one of those guys they've counted on all game long. He's got 8 yards to go to get to a 200-yard night. Haynes gets it to almost the 15-yard line on first down. That is a big chunk on first down.
And Haynes and Jernigan just make such a good 1-2 punch back there in that offensive backfield for the Wildcats.
2nd and 3.
2nd down and 3.
In the red zone.
Inside the 15-yard line this time for Sanders. That's going to be, right at the sticks. It's going to maybe require measurement, but they are already signaling 3rd down.
It's about a yard short, I think.
3rd down and 1.
Oh, no, it's just a foot or so short. It's very close.
It's very close. But like you said, those hash marks are very consistent on the turf, so something very easy to eyeball. 3rd and inches. The inches perhaps picked up by Jernigan to move the chains, or the way Poplarville is saying, not, but I believe he got it.
Yeah, I think he got it by about a half a yard. And they do move the chains.
First down for Louisville. They can still get another first down without getting into the end zone. This offensive line, the same five that has started on the line for the last 3 seasons. They know what winning a title is all about. Do they have a little bit more left in the tank for this Wildcat team to get the game-tying potential score here? Second down after the carry by Haynes. Picked up a couple.
And we talked about the recurrent cramp. Nathan Brown, the young man that cramped earlier for Poplarville, was a little slow getting up that time, stretching that calf out again, and now he's going to head to the sidelines.
Time or a whistle by the referee. Just trying to reset the play clock. Everybody thought he was calling a timeout there, so they were starting to head to the sidelines. Straight up the middle give again. Sanders down near the 5 to about the 7.
And you know, Louisville now down in the red zone has just gotten in an old school double wing under center with a fullback. It's a big third down here for Louisville, which of course is 4-down territory, but very important to cut some yards away on this third down play.
They're 5 of 9 so far on third down. Jernigan gets the handoff. Swallowed up by the Hornets, able to maybe get back to the 7, maybe the 6. It's going to be 4th down, and this might be the ball game with 1:37 and counting left. Even though Louisville has all 3 timeouts left, they've got to convert here.
Yeah, they do. This is going to be tough. Now, still a chance if you don't, but it would be less than ideal if Louisville was unable to convert.
Well, now it'll come down to this, because they won't be able to stop the clock, but twice after this play, if they don't convert, this is your ball game now.
Yeah, and I can understand that timeout to get your offense set and back on the same page, but not having that third timeout for defense is monumental.
Tyrone Shorter, a native of Port Gibson, attended Austin Peay State University on a football and track scholarship. Received a master's at Mississippi State University in school leadership and administration. He's also the AD at Louisville. He started his pro career as a defensive back for the San Diego Chargers and later joined the Eskimos of Edmonton in the Canadian Football League. He's been coaching for 27 years, 13 division titles, 8 North State titles, and 7 state championships of the 12 won. Coach Shorter has been named Coach of the Year 5 times and is the first African-American coach in the state of Mississippi to hold a winning season record of 16-0.
Wow. That's an impressive coaching resume for Coach Shorter.
He's coached in the, I'm not done yet. He's coached in the North-South All-Star game 3 different times and the Miss-Out game 3 times. Those are the impact guys we talked about, and that's what they've done tonight. They've lived up to those expectations.
Yeah, Keys with 129 yards on 20 carries and a touchdown, but Hunt with even bigger numbers for Louisville.
4th down, they go to the air, right over the middle, touchdown, Wildcats, what a play call, right wide open, Aiden Coleman. I believe his first catch of the night. Correction, that's not his first catch, it's his 3rd catch. It's his biggest one of the night, though. On 4th down, they convert for the touchdown.
And can I beg a little forgiveness from Coach Shorter? He knew what he was doing calling the timeout. He wanted to get his offense reset because he knew the play he wanted to run, but he probably needed to get the correct personnel in to run that play, and it was a masterful play call.
Do you go for 2 here in the win?
I don't know. And that's what, he knows because that's what he's doing. He's got the offense back out there on the field. We will either see a lead for Louisville or we will see Poplarville likely take this state championship home.
Here's the extra point try. They'll go right back to the air again. It's tipped. Oh, what a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. They say out of bounds. No good on the 2-point try. Poplarville will hold on to the lead, 29-28.
Wow.
That was an incredible effort by Cameron Triplett.
What a catch.
Or maybe it was Coleman again. Was it 13 or 17? Look at this one-handed grab. Oh, boys. Yep, that's
it's
a great
the right call.
His foot's out of bounds. His back foot comes in, and it was triplet, but his first foot that came down was out of bounds.
Yeah, I hate that for Louisville. That's a heartbreaker, but it's the right call. Wow.
So now Louisville has to go for an onside kick.
That's right. 2 timeouts, 1 minute and 23 seconds. The numbers don't add up. You've got to get the onside kick.
And it was tipped. Oh, man, just that first foot that came down was his right one. His left foot definitely was kicking up the pellets you saw, but the right foot came down first inside the black portion of the turf back there behind the end zone.
And it wasn't like he was toes on the line. It was a whole foot on the line. It was a great effort, though. I mean, just in
the fact that he was able to maintain concentration on a tip ball in the back of the end zone.
It was a great catch, just unfortunately out of bounds.
Coach Shorter, the Wildcats, boy, they've known nothing but winning state titles. It's kind of like the South Panola streak back in the 90s. You knew it was going to eventually come to an end. Wildcats surely were thinking that it wouldn't tonight, of the perfect streak they've got going in the modern era of 12 for 12.
Kind of ironic that it's going to end before they get to 13, potentially.
The unlucky number?
Yeah.
So West Point, if this holds, will hold on to the record that's been tied up all the time.
So now Poplarville with the hands team out there ready for the onside kick attempt.
And here it comes, the interesting inside way. It takes a high bounce, and it's gathered in by the Hornets. That was Jeremiah Moss, who caught the big touchdown, or the big long pass that led to the eventual, what could be game-winning touchdown earlier.
And it is going to stay in the hands of Poplarville.
Coach Jay Beach, can they finally get over the 0 for state championship appearance? 1 minute and 23 seconds away.
So with 2 timeouts remaining, can Louisville get the ball back? I think the numbers,
they could.
They'll let it happen.
If you have quick stops, because the play clock doesn't start until they set the ball back down for play. So you got to have a quick tackle, get up and let them put the ball down twice. And then that third down, it all depends on when the third down starts, because then you can't stop the clock after that. First carry will be to Keys. He's hit and dropped. So at 1:18, they call the first timeout, or 1:17.
So 6 seconds for the first play.
So let's just say another 6 seconds occur. 1:11, 1:10.
Timeout. Louisville.
And that would call it the second timeout. So then you have a third play of another 6 or 7 seconds. You're down to 1:05, but then you have to wait till the ball gets spotted. You're maybe looking at 1 minute, so then you're looking at 20 seconds.
So possibly 10 seconds
maybe,
or so.
But you could also run around.
Yeah.
There's you have to have almost 3 timeouts.
Yeah, a lot of possible outcomes here. And I understand, I think it's, in retrospect, seeing how the touchdown was scored, you just about had to take the timeout because you did not have the correct personnel on the field to run that play. Yeah. And the play was a great play call, obviously. But, boy, how big would that third timeout be right now?
I don't know if we can run that back one more time, the 2-point try, if we have time in the truck or not, guys. But because the ball got tipped. It was a phenomenal catch in the back of the end zone by Cameron Triplett on the 2-point conversion attempt. But it wasn't necessarily either intended for him or it got deflected by someone else on the way to him. I didn't see exactly it happened so quickly, but here we go, one more time at it. Right there it got tipped, and then he came down with it. And his teammate that tipped it.
I was going to say it was actually tipped by his teammate, not by a defender.
And what a great look. These officials, a lot of times, they get a lot of grief. First off, the second down play. And drop to the 46. There's the last timeout at 1 minute and 12 seconds. Only 5 seconds go off the clock that time. You always, the thousands of fans that are here are always acting as officials. As an official, you only make half of the crowd happy on every call, right? If you don't agree with the call, become an official. Refreps.com is what I always say, because it's the hardest, thankless job in this building here today. These guys have done an incredible job. and we really appreciate all that they've done here this weekend. So now let's take a look at your move of the game, and you can't go wrong with any of the plays of this drive, but it all started because of this onside kick.
And that was executed as well as you can execute it. Now, I just noticed something here watching the replay. The ball actually slipped out the back of the pile, looked almost like a rugby scrum.
It hit 4 different Poplarville players.
And a good job by Poplarville to stay focused on the ball and get on top of that ball that ended up being the biggest play of this game.
And remember, in that drive, after the onside kick, you had a long third down conversion that made that play, or allowed that drive to continue. What was it, 3rd and 12, I think it was.
Got a wide receiver. We hadn't seen that in a while. One of the big guys out there at wide receiver.
That's a big fella. Here's 3rd down. Going to the right side is Keys, and Keys is dropped at the 43. So now they have to spot the ball, ready for play. They haven't reset the game clock or play clock yet. Now they have. So 20 seconds is what's going to be on the clock when you snap it on 4th down. You think Poplarville, with 2 timeouts remaining, will let it go all the way down and then burn their final timeout.
Well, I'm surprised you and I called that accurately. That was our guess, was 20 seconds. Look at us.
Finally got something right. It only took,
only
47
took 4
minutes
quarters.
and a few seconds to get to that.
So now this is going to become very interesting because you've got big play ability from Louisville. We will not see overtime. This game will be won or lost in regulation, but this could be very interesting when we see all this play out.
So back to the officials. They get a lot of grief. Thank you to each one of these guys. He threw the flag, but I think the timeout probably got called first.
Oh, I'm looking at exactly 20 seconds.
20 seconds, yeah. Every once in a while.
There's no foul for delay of game. Timeout, Poplarville.
Because if anybody was to do what they do and have people boo at us when we make mistakes, we would have had a flood of boos tonight in the press box. Yeah. I've made about 16, 7. See, I'm getting them in my ear right now. Sweet Kim giving me a fantastic course of boos in the headset. Those guys down there, I just can't imagine. To make a bang call like that on an end line, I mean, that is not easy to do in a situation like that.
Look, I spent 8 years as a high school football coach, and there's probably a lot of officials I owe apologies to, without a doubt, because you get rough on those guys when a lot of times in the heat of the moment, what you perceived as an incorrect call many times is the right call. And you couldn't describe it better when you say it's a thankless job. Those are special guys down there calling these games.
All right, 4th down. Poplarville going to try to convert on 4th down. Don't blame them when you got a guy like Keys in the backfield. And on 4th down so far tonight, they're 2 for 2. A conversion means the end of the game. Keys keeps it to the right side. He's wrapped up and dropped, and Louisville still has 15 seconds left and 55 yards away.
And that's another thing. I almost think you had to go with a quick kick or a punt there and flip this field because the risk of that play is exactly what just happened. With 15 seconds left, this is a Louisville team that could rip off a big play and score a touchdown easily in 15 seconds.
And you've got Xavier Hunt who can throw to the boundary as well and get a play without because they have no timeouts to burn. To be able to get to the sidelines. You do stop the clock on a 1st down conversion as well in high school football. So there's maybe 2, at the most 3 plays left right now to try to get to the end zone.
Well, if you do end up throwing the ball inbounds, you've got to be prepped. It's got to be a 1st down. You cannot throw the ball short of the sticks. That is not an option right here. Game over. It's got to be past the sticks.
Here we go. Louisville, one last gasp. A roll to the right. And got to get rid of it now. They do, but out of bounds. And that burned up 6 seconds. So maybe time for 2 more plays here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, do you have are you willing to take the risk to try a quick one to the sidelines? I don't even know at this point in the game. I don't know what you're going to do. I feel like you've got to go downfield.
2nd down and 10.
Whew, it's tough.
Glad it's not me.
That's right. It's a lot more comfortable up here in the booth.
Xavier Hunt trots his way back toward the line of scrimmage. 13 seconds left on the play clock as he makes his way back there. And now Poplarville will burn one of their only timeout left. So now neither team has any timeouts remaining in this one.
Likely, assuming you get an incompletion on this play, 2 plays remaining in the game. If you get a completed pass here, it's in all likelihood the last play of the game, no matter what the result. It's going to be a heartbreaking ending one way or the other.
5th time that the Hornets have been playing for the state title since 2016. They lost their first 4 previous state championships, including the heartbreaker we talked about in 2020, to this Louisville team, 15-14. They have established themselves, though, as a perennial 4A power in the state with 13 district titles, 7 district titles in the Jay Beach era. The Hornets won 5 South State titles. In this version, they were supposed to be a young team that would rely heavily on the emergence of some sophomores and freshmen. They've done that. Those expectations were very low. Now they're very high, as they are just 9 seconds away from a potential first ever state title. Too much time. This may be the last play of the game now. You got to get rid of it. 2 seconds, 1 second. It's incomplete. Ball game over. Poplarville has done the unthinkable. They finally pull off their first ever state title in school history. The 2024 state champs are your Poplarville Hornets.
Today's final score.
How big of a moment is this for Poplarville, the whole community, the football team, everybody involved, a huge crowd here. You've been joined by the faithful from Hattiesburg and Grenada enjoying this game as well. This is an atmosphere that will be remembered for years. How special is this in front of a huge crowd of thousands here for this football game? And let's go back to that big moment, the onside kick that changed everything.
You know what? I want to go back to another moment too. Louisville scored, and they went for 2 and made it. Then they forced Poplarville to chase points.
That's right.
Had they stayed with 7-7, would it have been a different? Now, obviously, they still only had to get 1 to tie the game, but nonetheless, a thriller, an instant classic here in Hattiesburg. Trophy presentations and more all coming up next here on the NFHS Network.
Man, you look familiar.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
We put faith in our vehicles to connect us. We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Hey kids, I'm Treasurer David McCrae.
Hi, David.
What do y'all want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. I want to work on cars.
The trades. That's smart, kid. These kids are almost already halfway to college, and the Mississippi Treasury has flexible college savings plans that will help you save for almost anything your child can dream of.
A princess.
Well, almost anything. To save for your college dreams, you can go to treasury.ms.gov.
What a thriller of a finish. The Louisville Wildcats fall to the Poplarville Hornets 29-28, and Coach Beach is standing by with our man Lance.
Coach, congratulations. You finally got one. Just explain your emotions right now.
Well, thank the Lord Jesus Christ. He had this in store for us. This was his working, all his doing. And just want to give him all the glory.
Coach, all 3 phases of the game tonight contributed. The onside kick, was that something you had seen on film this week, or was that just kind of, hey, we got the momentum, let's go for it?
We saw it a little bit this week, but they're so athletic, you kick it to them, they're going to run it back to the 40 anyway, so might as well kick an onside kick.
3 one-point victories in the last 5 weeks. What does that say about this team?
Just never flinch, never flinch. Believe and never flinch and play hard every snap. That's all we've been doing.
Coach, go celebrate with your team. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Coach Beach. What a job by Jay Beach and the Hornets. Now let's take a look at your player of the game. No surprise, it's number 5. Not only did he have an incredible night of 23 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown, he actually ran it in twice. Had one called back.
That's right, and he just, we said all night he was the key to the game for Poplarville. If they could get Keys going, it would make things happen, and Keys was just that difference maker. His final stat line for the night, 23 rushing attempts, 130 yards, a touchdown. Just had a great night here for Poplarville.
Well, 24 touches, 227 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Don't forget the kickoff return of 83 yards. That's right.
Correct.
And Ty Keys, or Tylan Keys, whatever you want to call it, that young man is excited because the Poplarville Hornets have finally gotten that first ever state title in school history.
And one question I was thinking about earlier when we were looking at that injury for Keys is what effect did Miller and Case coming in and having to take the majority of the load have on that team, so that when Keys came back, they were an even better team because of the experience those 2 young men got when Keys was out.
That's a great point. It's been so much fun to watch this group tonight and be a part of this entire weekend. What a weekend it's been, too. Now the cool traditions, they've got the C-Spire bracket, the Farm Bureau banner coming up. They've got the trophy, and this is what Adam Johnson and the entire MHSA staff have done to make this a really memorable, celebratory moment. Is really cool.
It is. Those kids are having a blast down there. First championship in school history.
MHSAA Farm Bureau Championship banner.
There comes the banner provided by Farm Bureau. The MHSAA 4A state champions are the Poplarville Hornets. Wow, did not think I'd say that. And that's only because of what we've seen play out. 12 for 12 in state titles. And number 13 just wasn't in the cards tonight for Louisville. Well, I could not do it without my good friend up here, Cliff Barker, down on the field, Lance LaFan. For Kim and Mark and our entire crew of the NFHS Network, we thank you so much for tuning in to this penultimate broadcast of our weekend of coverage. One more to go. Hattiesburg and Grenada up next after our side set with Jake Wimberly, all right here on the NFHS Network.